Live from the Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, Michigan. It's the Wolverines of Michigan playing host to the Spartans of Michigan State. Today's game is brought to you by Stroh's and Stroh Light. Fire brewed for smoother taste. Family brewed quality for over 200 years. For the 37th consecutive year, this game between Michigan and Michigan State is a complete sellout. And would you believe that for the 57th consecutive Saturday, the Michigan Stadium will have over 100,000 people to watch the 77th meeting between these two teams. Last year, as you can see, Michigan won in East Lansing 42-0. Not only is this a great intrastate rivalry, but also the Big Ten is a big factor too. Michigan sits atop the Big Ten today, along with Ohio State and Purdue, and those two teams are meeting at West Lafayette. Michigan State is still looking for its first victory in the Big Ten Conference of this year after losing a heartbreaker last week to Purdue 13-10. We have a perfect afternoon for college football. The temperature 60 degrees, and I'm Bill Fleming welcoming you to this old rivalry that began some 86 years ago, and believe me, it has intensified tremendously ever since that first meeting in 1898. I really believe that if you were to ask the members of the teams here today, the players themselves, which game they would like to win most, I think they would tell you that this is the one, simply because many of them were recruited right out of the state of Michigan by both Michigan and Michigan State. And I think there is something, too, about being able to come away from this game and swell your chest with pride and say, I was on the team that won the big one. Well, a man who knows certainly about that is our football expert, Rick Forzano, a former head coach at the Naval Academy and with the Detroit Lions. But it was during his stay at the Naval Academy when he witnessed 9 Army-Navy games. And Rick, is this comparable to that?
It certainly is. I'm ready, and I'm in the press box, but you would have to be in the locker rooms of both these football teams to really feel the emotion. If you were to put this game in a computer, it would spit out the winner, Michigan, Michigan, Michigan. But I'll tell you, computers don't win games. Emotion wins games. Players win games. And Michigan State has another incentive. They got whipped last year, 42-0. But they came back, and they can come back again. And Carl Butler, their great running back, has to do it. Number 49, averaging 93 yards a game, a complete back. The quarterback, Dave Urema, a young guy making a lot of mistakes, but getting better and better as he goes along. But the onus is really right on the defense of Michigan State. They have not been good against the pass. They've got to knock down passes, but they've got to intercept them and get a pass rush from their down linemen like Ranella and Kelly Quinn. Again, repeat, the onus today, I believe, is on the Michigan State defense, but they've got a secret weapon. Ralph Mosienko, their place kicker, can kick him from 50 plus. He could be the deciding factor in this ball game today.
You know, there is a similarity between these two teams, and that is in the quarterback post. Urema, and we have Jim Harbaugh at Michigan. Not very experienced, and I think it's rather interesting to compare those two.
Well, any inexperienced quarterback gives coaches anxious moments, but Harbaugh is getting better. He was 14 of 18 against Indiana last week. The big thing, no interceptions, 1 TD. The no interceptions, the big thing. His favorite receiver, Vince Bean, who has 77 career catches at Michigan. Ann Arbor today will see the ball thrown some by Michigan off of play action, but they'll be faking and giving the ball to the little water bug, Jamie there, who can come from his tailback. He's replacing Gerald White, who is out with an arm injury. Look for Rick Rogers. Down close, look for Bob Perryman. Inside, he has 5 touchdowns, all close. Defensively, the quickest defense in the Big Ten. Brooks, I'll tell you, he can get. He is 6'6". He was an ex-linebacker, and the guy that can intercept, Rodney Lyles, had 4 interceptions against Miami. Michigan's defense is tough, quick, aggressive, and they make big plays.
Well, that's a brief look at both Michigan State and Michigan. And now let's join our colleague Jim Bonds on the sideline.
Thanks, Bill Fleming. On arriving at the University of Michigan campus yesterday, we had an opportunity to visit with head coach Bo Schembechler. I talked with Bo, and he has a lot of respect for the Michigan State defense. At the same time, he's concerned about his own offensive football team developing consistency, a factor that's been a problem that's been slowed or came about, of course, because of the injury factor. On defense, also, Bo says we've got to have consistency. That's very important defensively.
James H. Davis. Please report to first aid. James H.
Defensively, we played pretty well, particularly against teams that try to throw the football on us. We haven't met a team like Michigan State that's predominantly a running team, so we're going to be tested there. But the games have been close. It's not we've not had any easy games, and we played poorly against Washington. But then again, Washington is a very fine team. So I don't know. We don't know what we have really, but we've got a lot of good kids that enjoy playing football.
After the victory last week over Indiana, you kind of more or less chastise some of the media and tell them not to live in the past.
Right.
The 40-0 games are history. That's true, isn't it?
Well, I tried to remind them that Syracuse had beaten Nebraska that afternoon, and that it's no longer a matter of these powerhouse teams dominating the rest of the league or dominating their schedule. It's just not going to happen.
Head coach Bo Schembechler of the University of Michigan, because of the travel arrangements and arrival time here at Michigan Stadium of the Michigan State football team, where we are unable to bring you Coach George Perlos on tape. However, just a few minutes ago, I visited with the Michigan State coaching staff, and we talked about what they have concentrated on in practice this week, and it's simply turnovers. Look at the turnover ratio department of the Big Ten. You find Michigan at the top with a +8. That simply means they have forced 8 more turnovers than they have given up. On the flip side, Michigan State -5. They've given up 5 more turnovers they have forced in 1984. That's the focal point. And also, Carl Butler, the fine running back for Michigan State, will play today with a soft cast. It's a beautiful autumn afternoon in Ann Arbor. It's Michigan and Michigan State. What else can we say except stay with us. We'll return in just a moment with the starting lineups in the kickoff as SportsView and Strohs presents the Big Ten Game of the Week from Michigan Stadium.
The Michigan team has won the toss and has elected to receive the football. So they will go with quarterback Jim Harbaugh. Eddie Garrett will be the fullback. Jamie Morris will be starting his first game at tailback today. That was necessitated by the injury to Gerald White. He put his arm through a glass door this week and had 20 stitches taken in it. Will not be available today. And Rick Rogers, his normal replacement, is hobbled with a leg injury. Vince Bean will be the flanker, and Paul Yokish, a former All-State basketball and football player from Brother Rice in Birmingham, will be starting his first game at split end. Let's take a look at the rest of the lineup. Sim Nelson, veteran tight end. Then across the front, Clay Miller, Bob Tabachino, Art Balordis, Doug James, co-captain, Mark Hammerstein, and here comes the Michigan Wolverines underneath the M Go Blue sign of the M Club. And a tremendous roar goes up here in the Michigan Stadium that will swell to over 105,000 people today. And these are the officials for today's game. The referee is Otto Kortz. Dan Davey is the umpire. Tom Barnes is the head linesman. The line judge is Dan Langolo. Field judge is John Mars. Side judge is Denny Frond. And the back judge, Harold Mitchell. Now the Michigan State team on the far side of the field, dressed in white today with the green helmets and the green side stripes, and they'll be going with their defensive lineup. And across that front, let's take a look at them. The right end will be Tom Allen. Dave Wolf, the tackle. In this four-man front, Ranella and Quinn up front. Then in the linebacking spots, we've got Tom Tyree. Jim Morrissey may or may not start it. If he doesn't because of his shoulder hurt, Shane Bulla would be in there. And Anthony Bell, the veteran, at the left linebacking spot. The deep men, and it's an all-important foursome, Terry Lewis, Phil Parker, all Big Ten, Paul Bobbitt, and Lonnie Young. They may have their work cut out for them today. And on the far side, we have George Perlos, a former star himself at Michigan State University, and in his second season. Overall, 3-1, Michigan. Michigan State, after beating Colorado with the first one, has lost 3 in a row, including last week's to Purdue. Mosienko will kick off. And we have Jamie Morris and Gilvani Johnson down deep, along with Steve Johnson. The deep man for Michigan on the goal line is Jamie Morris, and he will be starting at tailback. Then he is flanked up around the 9 or 10-yard line by the Johnson boys. No relationship to each other, Gilvani and Steve. And we're ready to go now for the 77th meeting between these two old rivals that are separated by only about 70 miles. And I can tell you that the rivalry is a lot closer than that. Big kick. Getting in the end zone, and Morris lets it go out, and the Wolverines will be on the attack from the 20-yard line. And as I mentioned, it'll be Harbaugh, Jamie Morris, Perriman, and Bean in the backfield. Jokic at the split end spot, Sim Nelson at tight end. Let's get a word from Rick Porzano here about what we might be able to expect on the first sequence.
I look for Michigan to take that football and try to run it right at Michigan State early, and then if they get a first down, come out with a play-action pass and try to get it all.
First play of the ball game. Long count by Harbaugh, and he gives it to Jamie Morris, and he gets nothing to speak of. Well, let's give him 4 anyways, where his knee hit.
That's really what happens with a little back like Jamie Morris. It looks like he doesn't get too much, but he just scoots up in there and picks up 4 yards.
Eric Caddis has come in at the tight end spot to give Michigan a double tight end situation. Nelson and Caddis, and Jokic comes out. Now, what do they like to do with the double tight ends, Rick?
Double tight ends, you look for the run. They're trying to keep the backside from pursuing, so look for off-tackle plays.
You called it, and it doesn't get much. That Michigan State defense is really tough in there. Jim Morrissey, number 40, did start, and he headed up the defense.
On defense, you want to get 11 people at the football. Michigan State did that very same thing, led by Morrissey. They were in there, 11 people in on a tackle. That's why they've only allowed just a little over 2 yards rushing the football, but their pass defense has been suspect.
Flanker Gilvani Johnson has reported it, and Eric Caddis comes out at the tight end. So they got a 3rd and 5 and a passing situation. Here's Harbaugh. Has a man to the sidelines. He's got Sim Nelson, the tight end, and he's out of bounds at the 45-yard line. First down. And a pickup on the play of 20 yards.
On that pass play, Michigan State is playing man for man underneath, so the corner taking the flanker runs to the inside with him. You see him right there. There's nobody in the flat to cover Sim Nelson. Well-conceived play. First down, Michigan.
Vince Bean comes out of the lineup. At Eric Caddis, again, the 2 tight end situation goes in. First down on the 45-yard line. Michigan has taken the opening kickoff, move for a first down. Deep pitch goes to Jamie Morris. Terrific pursuit by Tom Allen, number 59.
Number 51, Anthony Bell, the outside linebacker for Michigan State, did an excellent job of shedding blockers, moving up and putting the stop on Jamie Morris. Good defensive play, Michigan State.
Second down and 10. Harbaugh looks over to the right side. He's flanked a man out. Releases it to Perriman, and he drops the ball.
Play-action passes are tough to defend because you have to defend the run first, and that time Michigan flooded that strong side. Perryman was open in the flat. He was the short man, but he just took his eye off the ball. It's now 3rd.
Shane Bulla has reported in the lineup for Michigan State. Jokic has reported in at split end for Michigan. Caddis is out. 3rd down and 10. Harbaugh unloads it to the sideline. Good coverage intended for Jokic. Terry Lewis, number 10, a veteran from Highland Park, Michigan, a senior, coming up to make a good defensive play. And it's fourth down.
That time Harbaugh was a little hesitant. He was going to throw to Sim Nelson coming across the middle, was late on that throw to Jokic, and it was almost intercepted. Good defensive play, Michigan State, fourth down.
Monty Robbins averaging 44 yards a kick. And Bobby Morse is back as the safety. Wind is not too big a factor here today. It's from the east. It's more of a crosswind, and a fair catch called for at about the 15-yard line by Paul Bobbitt, number 39 of Michigan State. And the Spartans now will go to work after holding Michigan and forcing the punt. The offensive lineup of Michigan State will have Dave Urema at quarterback. Running back is Carl Butler. The fullback is Keith Gates. Mark Ingram, the flanker. Larry Jackson, the split end. And Butch Roll, the tight end. Carl Butler grinds forward for 5. Rodney Lyles, number 80, the defensive end, brings him down.
Rodney Lyles, along with Kevin Brooks, were the tacklers.
Clark coming back. And the tight end, Butch Roll, Bogdanic, Wojciechowski, Napolitan, McConna, and Doug Rogers. 2nd and 5. No score in the first quarter with 3 minutes elapsed. Pitch outside goes to Butler, and he is nailed by Mike Mallory, number 42, the right linebacker, who was named the Midwest Defensive Back of the Week last week in the game against Indiana. So give credit to number 42 on the defense, Mike Mallory.
You called it, and you have to have good inside linebackers to play that 5-2 defense.
Third down and about 6. Urema throwing it out, complete to Bobby Morse at the 27-yard line. Andy Moeller making the stop on him. What you are actually hearing and we're hearing too, is the Michigan State coach's booth is right below our booth. And what you are actually hearing when you hear some technical jargon there are the Michigan State coaches. So we're going to take care of that with this microphone that we have extended from our booth and not intrude upon their privacy.
Do you think coaches get excited during a game?
Bobby Morse. And Rodney Lyles makes the stop. Almost first down.
Michigan State started out with the same play, a little counter action, a trap, give the ball to the fullback, a sure-handed play, get those linebackers flowing in one way and give it to the fullback on the counter. Good play, first down, Michigan State.
And I'll tell you, Michigan State now is moving that ball. That's their second first down, and they're blocking with crispness in that forward line. I think the players made an interesting observation, Rick. After the loss to Purdue last week, they said, we're glad to be playing Michigan this week. It gives us a motivation
Certainly.
we might not have with a lesser opponent. Carl Butler getting it forward, just moving the ball on the ground, and Tim Anderson, number 57, makes the stop for Michigan.
I think you described it perfectly when you said they're blocking crisply. They're coming off the football, and they weren't doing that last week. They're really coming off. If they can just hold on to it now and eliminate the turnovers, Michigan State, they can move the football.
Second down, about 7. The ball on the 40-yard line. We have no score in case you've joined us a little bit late. The word was, too, that Michigan State got an added bit of inspiration with Kirk Gibson visiting the team in the locker room. Of course, coming off that magnificent victory last night, winning the American League pennant, and Kirk himself being named the most valuable player in the playoffs. Carl Butler stopped by Kevin Brooks, and we understand that Kirk will be watching the game today from up in the reaches of the press box. Maybe we'll have a chance to get a word with him. I don't know. We'll certainly try to do so at halftime, because I think everybody around this area has been completely captivated by the '84 Tigers, and particularly with that 3-game sweep to send them into the World Series. Third down and 7. Urema over the center, has his man right in a perfect spot. Vino Belk has the first down, keeps on fighting, and gets to the Michigan 43-yard line.
If you question what emotion plays in a game, Vino Belk makes an extra 5 yards on his own. That time Michigan had a safety blitz on, and right in that area, Urema hits Belk, and you're looking for receivers that after they catch the ball will run with it. Great catch. Just watch him turn the ball upfield. Good effort. 6'3", baby. All right, Michigan State, first down.
15-yard gain on the play, and it's on the 43-yard line of the Wolverines, and it's the first penetration of the ball game. We haven't heard the crowd announcement yet, but I'll tell you, this is as full as I have ever seen this stadium. People standing up along the rim of the stadium indicates to us that we have 105,000 plus today. All right, first down for the Spartans. No score, first quarter. We have 9 minutes to play in it. Hand off to Bobby Morse, and he is stacked up after about a yard gain by Mike Mallory, and Al Sinsich, number 53 of Michigan, is playing his first game since the first quarter of the first game. Sinsich, number 53 of Michigan, is the middle guard, the man we're speaking of right now. Second and 8. Straight ahead blast by Butler, and he found a little bit of a crack, and Rodney Lyles has to come up to seal him down at the 35-yard line.
The reason these plays are successful is that Michigan State is not wasting any time in the backfield. It's just quick hitting. It's moving the ball up right now so that quick Michigan defense can be negated a little bit.
Third down and 2 and a big play. The ball on the 36-yard line. Morse swings out wide to the right. Ingram is on the left side, and only a single back. And Urema decides to go to the air. He's got Morse. First down at the 17-yard line. Garland Rivers, number 13, has to come up to make the stop. A beautiful crossing pattern by Bobby Morse, and Urema laid it right in there.
Urema laid it in just like you said. There was excellent pickup, excellent protection. Michigan faked the blitz, but they found that little seam, and that's the second time they found the seam right in there over the tight end about 10 yards deep.
First down on the 17-yard line, and the first threat of the ball game with 7.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Good defensive play. The man making penetration there was Jim Scarselli, number 85. He slowed it up as Carl Butler had to swing outside. Watch this replay on Scarselli.
Scarselli from the defensive end position, penetration. I do not believe that Michigan State can run that wide on Michigan. I believe the Michigan defense is too quick. They're going to have to hit inside.
Aren't you surprised that they're running Butler and Morse in the same backfield?
Well, not really, because last week those two played the best, as you remember.
Well, I was just surprised that Gates wasn't in there. Morse had been always listed as number 2. Straight drop back by Urema over the center, and he's got his man. It is Vino Belk at the 15 or 14-yard line as Mallory and Moeller make the stop on it.
The success of this play, sure, it's Urema throwing to Belk, but no one is touching her or harassing Urema. He's getting time to throw the football, and if you give a quarterback time, he can find the open receivers.
And the thing you always have to remember about Michigan State is that cannonball leg of Ralph Mosienko.
You're right.
Third down and about 7. Again, not much pressure on Urema. And he finds his man, Vino Belk. He's out of bounds at the 2 or 3 yard line.
The key, you said it, pressure. They're not putting the pressure. They're really protecting him because, again, Urema wanted to go downfield on that little turn-in pattern at about 8 yards. You be the quarterback. Now look how much time he's looking to his left. That's where he wants to go on that crossing pattern. And he's got a strong enough arm to hit Belk, and Belk turns it down to the 1-2 yard line.
All right, here we go. First and goal to go. The ball on the 1.5 yard line. Michigan State sets up there with the I formation with Urema as the quarterback. 1.5 yards away from the Michigan goal line that they haven't crossed in 2 years. And they do it now. Carl Butler dives into the end zone, and Michigan State has scored.
Bill, you judged a lot of swimming contests. What would you give Carl Butler on that dive? That's emotion. That's saying, I'm not going to be denied. I'm going up over the top. The offensive line of Michigan State owned the defensive line of Michigan that time. Touchdown, Michigan State.
So Ralph Mozienko will be in to try for the extra point. He's 5 out of 6 this year. Clark Brown will hold. And that score came at 5 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the first quarter. It's perfect. And Michigan State has scored against Michigan. We have 5:50 to go in the first quarter. The score 7-0. Michigan State over the Wolverines. And we'll be right back. This telecast is presented by authority of the Big Ten Conference as intended solely for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Big Ten Conference and the University of Michigan is prohibited. Jamie Morris and Gilvani Johnson are deep along with Steve Johnson. That is Jamie Morris right there on the goal line, and Mozienko, of course, will do the booting. Morris has to pick it up and barely gets it back to the 15-yard line. So the Wolverines in a bit of a hole as Paul Bobbitt made the stop on him, and they'll try to get something generated here, trailing by the score of 7-0. And here's how the scoring drive occurred. 85 yards and 14 plays, and it ate up a considerable amount of time. Butler's dive in from the end zone, but I thought it was a nice sprinkling of running and passing in that particular drive, Rick, and well engineered.
Absolutely, well conceived.
Pretty good hole opening up for Jamie Morris, and he gets 7 yards as Paul Bobbitt makes the stop on it. Jamie Morris was pressed into service here today because of Gerald White's injury. Kind of a freakish thing. It happened actually coming out of the training table. You know how those doors have that big lever bar on them? Well, he just missed the bar, and his hand crashed through the glass, and they had to take 20 stitches in it, so he was automatically out for this week. So the freshman, Jamie Morris, is pressed into service. Perriman, the fullback, doesn't get anything, gets his nose right on the line, and Jim Ranella, defensive left tackle, number 57, and Anthony Bell, number 51, make the stop on it.
Jim Ranella is only 5'10", 204 pounds, but he is so quick, and he's in that center guard gap all the time, and that time he beat the center guard, got penetration, put the stop.
Third down, a long 4. Vince Bean comes out wide to the right. Paul Jokic is split on the left side, and it would indicate perhaps that Harbaugh wants to go to the air here. Good protection for him, and it's down the middle. Caught on the ricochet by Sim Nelson. Pretty good reaction as Jim Morrissey was covering on the play, and you will see on the replay that Nelson had to make 2 grabs at it.
Morrissey, the middle linebacker for Michigan State, number 40, should have an interception. Watch the reaction right there, interception. But Nelson, complete concentration, and that's what you should do as a receiver. Catches the ball, first down, Michigan.
4 minutes and 10 seconds to go in this first quarter. Michigan State out in front 7-0 on a beautiful 85-yard drive that climaxed in Carl Butler's touchdown. Harbaugh on first down. Everybody covered. Morrissey goes after him, and Harbaugh scampers out of bounds over on the far sideline, very close to the first down. There was a marker there, and it may have been a late hit by Michigan State. Tom Tyree, number 28.
It is a late hit, and again, when you're playing, we keep talking about emotions. Tom Tyree really doesn't know that he's out of bounds there when he hits Harbaugh, but it's going to cost Michigan State 15 big yards.
Yeah, what I didn't see originally, and I saw on the replay, was somebody came in very low on Harbaugh's right knee. Those are the ones that frighten you, because he was certainly not conscious that there was anything coming to him from that direction. Auto courts. Personal foul. So Michigan now has gotten deeper than it has been before at the 44-yard line in Michigan State territory. Cross buck, and Jamie Morris drags a man with him. Get about a yard on the play, maybe 2. It's interesting that a year ago, Michigan took the opening kickoff and went right down in a similar drive and scored against Michigan State and then dominated the Spartans the rest of the day. And here today, Michigan State takes the ball and goes 85 yards against the defense that, quite frankly, Bo Schembechler has a lot of pride in and doesn't like to think that anybody can move the ball that far or control it that long.
Well, Bo says you win with defense. There's no question about that, and Michigan State did move the ball on that great defense.
Keep your eye on number 18, Triando Marcray. He's in the lineup, and he's going deep. He's in the end zone. He can't get it. Phil Parker was covering on the play, an all Big Ten performer from Lorain, Ohio.
That time, a good play action fake, but there is excellent coverage downfield. The ball is really kind of thrown wobbly. Parker should have an interception right there. Was going for Marco's way, but good defense, Michigan State.
Steve Johnson reports in as the split end for the Wolverines. So the tight end is number 95, Sim Nelson. Steve Johnson will be split out wide to the right. 3rd down and 9. Michigan trailing 7-0 first quarter. Ball is on the 44-yard line of Michigan State. Boy, tenacious tackling by Anthony Bell. Right at the line of scrimmage, and he just throws Jamie Morris around like a sack of flour.
A little stunt action between Kelly Quinn, the left end, and the left outside linebacker, number 51, Bell. He fills on the inside. Good defensive call. The end went out. Bell came inside. Boom, big defense.
And it forces a Michigan punt. Todd Schlopy has gone in to do the punting. He's what they call a pooch kicker. He could kind of just angle it down there, just bunt it. This is not going to be a very good kick. It's only going to be maybe 20, 25 yards. Got an adverse bounce on it. And they will mark the ball very close to the 27-yard line. So with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the first quarter, Michigan State leads 7-0. We'll be right back after this message from your local station. How far was that? A rather poor 17-yard kick has given Michigan State the ball on the 29-yard line, and as you can see, the Spartans are leading 7-0. 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in this first quarter, and it just couldn't be a nicer autumnal setting for the 77th renewal of this game, a game which, by the way, Michigan State has not won since 1978. Do you think that the appearance of Kirk Gibson in the locker room perhaps had some inspiration, because he was on the last team that beat Michigan?
Well, the way Kirk played in the playoffs and the way he played all year long, he would inspire me. I'll guarantee you that.
First down. And off to Butler, and hello there. Jim Scarcelli puts his calling card right on the numbers of Carl Butler.
The second time that Michigan State has had to tried to go to their right on a little delayed outside power play, and Scarcelli says, "How do you do?" Big tackle for the loss. 2nd down and long.
Scarcelli is a senior out of Warren, Michigan, so he's a hometown product and anxious to get at his home staters. 2nd down and 12. Nice hole, but it's stopped by Kevin Brooks, number 52, on fullback Keith Gates. That's the first appearance we've seen him, and he's got He's got Bobby Morse in there now in the same backfield.
They probably want to give Carl Butler a little bit of a rest because he has that bad hand from the Purdue game, and he's wearing a soft cast, so they want to play both Morse and Gates in the game.
Larry Jackson comes out wide to the left side, split off. Ingram is split on the right. The single back is Gates. A little high. So to bring up a fourth down situation. That pass intended for Ingram. And good defense by Michigan now has forced this fourth down, and a big roar goes up from the hometowners in Ann Arbor. There is, however, a tremendous amount of green in the audience today among the maize and the blue. Mozienko has a 42-yard average, a slight wind to his back, a 61-yard long, and Gilvani Johnson is the only man back. There's a marker down. Oh, a terrific kick. A howitzer down to the 14-yard line. All white jerseys, and they run him out of bounds at the 22. I don't know what the flag was for. However, Rick, you may have spotted it.
It's going to be offsides against Michigan, and I believe Michigan State will turn the penalty down because Ralph Mozienko just unloaded one. You think a kicker is valuable? I'd give him most valuable offensive and defensive for that punt.
Offside.
A 57-yard booming kick by Ralph Mozienko. Timeout has been called. 48 seconds to go in the quarter. It's 7-0 Michigan State, and we'll be right back after this message from your local station. Michigan is coming in with a new backfield now. Rick Rogers, number 20, reports into the lineup. The fullback will be Eddie Garrett, number 32. Two tight ends, Sim Nelson and Eric Caddis are in, and Paul Jokic is out. And Vince Bean is the flanker. So, Bo Schembechler now has two new backs. And this is Rick Rogers carrying for the first time. Beautiful block by the fullback, Eddie Garrett, and it springs him to the 26-yard line. Bill Parker coming up to make the stop from his free safety position.
A power sweep from the eye. Just a pitch to the tailback. Rogers, a 1,000-yard rusher last year. His knee injury was injured in the Michigan State game last year. Good. Give him the ball right now. Let him get the feel of the game. Rogers can be a real factor in this ball game.
Rick Rogers joined the squad a little bit late because of academic problems this summer. He finally got them ironed out and was eligible, but it wasn't until a last minute sort of thing when the grades came in that he was announced eligible. So he did miss some time. And that, combined with the knee injury, put him a little bit behind schedule. That's the end of the first quarter. And the score is Michigan State 7, Michigan nothing. On the Stroh's Big Ten Game of the Week. And we'll be back with the second quarter action following these messages. To 29. Good bootleg by Harbaugh. Keeps running. He's got a first down. Down he goes at the 34-yard line. And Jim Morrissey was in hot pursuit. Now, you may wonder why he would take a dive like that. Those are orders from Mr. Schembechler.
And those would be orders from any coach because you do not want to lose your quarterback. You say to Harbaugh, they're covered downfield. All we want you to do is get a first down, find out where it is, make it by an inch. That's all. First down, Michigan.
Good close-up of Jim Harbaugh from Palo Alto, California, whose father, Jack, was the coach at Western Michigan. Rick Rogers finds a little room outside and is put down by Anthony Bell, number 51. I would say this, Rick. We saw the Michigan State team 7 days ago. They played a good game against Purdue. They are 100% better than they were against Purdue.
And I feel because they are not beating themselves. They are not fumbling and throwing interceptions on offense, and their defense is penetrating the offensive backfield of Michigan thus far.
And the offensive line has been extraordinarily strong, giving Urema protection when they've needed it. Eddie Garrett gets the most out of it. Shane Bulla made the initial penetration on him, and Eddie Garrett managed to spin forward and gets it up to about the 42-yard line.
The entire left defensive side of Michigan State was in the backfield that time of Michigan. There was no place for Garrett to go.
Garrett comes out. Perryman goes in, number 37. Bean is out. Gilvani Johnson is out. And they keep Garrett in there, as a matter of fact, to go with that power eye in the backfield. Rick Rogers, oh, a beautiful ankle tackle, nails him right at the line of scrimmage. He falls forward as Kelly Quinn, number 93, was the man that seeped in there to drop him in his tracks. It'll be very, very close to see where his knee hit.
It was a 9, but I'm not so sure it was Kelly Quinn. I'd have to look at to see if it wasn't Bobbitt coming from his strong safety position on the outside and making the tackle. It's going to be close.
I don't think he made it. Short by about 1.5 feet. Now, Mr. Schembechler on the far side has to say, what do we do? Well, looks like he's going to kick it away. Fans don't like that.
Smart move by Bo. Punt the ball away. Let your defense play.
Robbins is back in there after Schloppe's 17-yard punt. That was partially intended the last time, though. They wanted just to get it short, knock it out, maybe out of bounds, but it didn't work out that way. Now Robbins, with a 43-yard average, is back. And he gets a beauty. Bobby Morris backs up at the 14-yard line. Nice move by Morris. Down the sidelines. He could go all the way. He's got the speed to do it. 25, 20, 15. Touchdown, and a great run by Bobby Morris.
Wow. The kicking game. That time, such a great punt was out there by Robbins. It was good coverage downfield for a while, but all of a sudden, Michigan State had set the wall up on the left side. You just watch the wall on the left side. The punt is a good punt. It looks like it's good coverage, but watch the top of your screen and then watch the wall being set up from Morris. This is exactly what you want. This is the way you draw it up on your screen. Morris goes inside the first block, then watch the blocks, watch the wall blocks, and it's all the way choo-choo for Michigan State and 6 points.
86 yards by Bobby Morris. And the kick by Mosienko is drilled, no good. He hit it too hard, and it comes off to the right side. Well, that is the most electrifying run we have seen in the Michigan Stadium for a decade. Timeout on the field, 12:41 to go in the first half, and Michigan State leads 13. Well, Bobby Morris's father, Jim Morris, the former captain of a Notre Dame team, has got to be really proud of his youngster from Muskegon, Michigan. I'll tell you, that was one of the most brilliant runs we have seen in a long, long time.
Brilliant runs and brilliant blocking, and I guarantee you his dad ran every step along the way with him on that one.
Jamie Morris is the deep man now, along with Steve Johnson and Gilvani Johnson, and the Wolverines have been shocked. Michigan State is out in front 13-0, and here is Mosienko's boot. Jamie Morris in the end zone chooses not to run it out. A couple of other scores. Penn State leading Maryland in the second quarter, 14-3. Ole Miss and Auburn are all tied up at halftime. That one's 10-10. Pittsburgh over East Carolina, 14-0 in the second period. Well, let's see what the Wolverines line up with now. They've got Eddie Garrett in the backfield along with Rick Rogers. Jim Harbaugh still the quarterback. Vince Bean, number 25, goes out at the top of your picture. Number 84 at the bottom is Paul Jokic. They have not been able to solve the Michigan State defense yet. And they still have it. As Tom Allen, number 59, nails Garrett for a 2-yard gain. Tell you, across the front, Quinn, Ranella, Morrissey, Wolf, and Allen have been really tough. Backed up by Bobbitt, Bell, and Tyree. Lonnie Young, Lewis Parker in the backfield.
The front four are like track men. They're in the starting blocks, and they're just coming out and firing right into the offensive linemen of Michigan.
Harbaugh with some time. Lofts it down the sideline, and it is tipped. A little bit too much of a floater. as Terry Lewis got his hand on it before Vince Bean could get the ball. And that'll bring up a third down.
Michigan has the right idea. They're trying to put the ball between the short man, Terry Lewis, and the deep man, Phil Parker, but the ball is lofted. It's a wobbly pass, and Lewis reacts back to the ball, knocks it down, third down.
Third down and 8. Heat coming in from the right side, and he has to get rid of it. Kelly Quinn, number 93, came roaring in from his outside linebacking spot, and it'll bring up a fourth down.
Kelly Quinn, number 93, the leader in tackles for loss and sacks. This is his 5th sack of the year. Watch from the right side. Watch Kelly Quinn. Harbaugh's got no one to throw to downfield. Quinn's sack.
This Michigan State team is ready. And Bobby Morse goes back. Let's get a good look at him, because he might be gone again. Once you get inspired like that, the official scorer gave him 57 yards on that one. But it's going to be tough to return this. Look at this kick. And it goes into the end zone. The line of scrimmage was the 22-yard line, so he bangs that one 78 yards, but you have to take the 20 off of it. So a 58-yard boot. Timeout on the field, 11:42 to go in the first half, and the score is now Michigan. Well, we were talking about Big Ten attendance. In 24 games this year, can you believe that? 1.6 million and then some change. The projected average today, 70,000. Seems that every Saturday, the Big Ten is setting new records. Speaking of records, the longest run in terms of punt returns was Alan Brenner in the Michigan Stadium of Illinois. 95 yards in 1966. But Dean Look of Michigan State ran one 92 yards in 1958. This one was 87. That will rank as the 4th best in the Michigan Stadium. Carl Butler making the run, and Garland Rivers making the stop on it.
Good defense by Michigan that time. Rodney Lyles, number 80, the outside linebacker on the short side there, just moved upfield. Butler tried to get outside, but he forced him right into the sideline. Only picked up 2 yards.
Yarima. Too high down the sidelines, intended for Bobby Morse. Kevin Brooks was making the penetration. Number 52 is a good man to keep your eye on the defense. He's Michigan's best defensive lineman.
And Kevin Brooks did put the pressure on, but that time it looked like to me Yarima went back and was looking left right now, and just telling the Michigan coverage, I'm going to go there, because there were 3 defenders right at the football.
Him out, and Yarima dives for the out-of-bounds marker at the 28-yard line. Kevin Brooks again making the stop.
Good quarterbacks make something happen. That time the Michigan has a twist on. It's picked up, but there's no one open downfield, and Yarima's going to get everything he can out of a play. It's going to be 4th down, but good play, Dave Yarima.
Giovanni Johnson drops back as the receiver. And Mosienko will kick. 11:26 to go in the first half. And coming in fast and almost getting a hand on that kick was Garland Rivers. Giovanni Johnson is down at the 25-yard line, and Doug Rogers, number 71, a sophomore out of Youngstown, Ohio, was the one who was down there first. So it stops the clock. 11:12 to go in the second quarter. The score 13-0 Michigan State. We'll be right back after this message from your local station. You might be interested to know that the longest run on a punt return in the Michigan Stadium was 88 yards. So it was missed by 1 by Morse. Pass complete to Rogers. Gain of about 7 on the play as Jim Morrissey is right there to make the stop. Dave Brown of Michigan ran 88 yards on the punt return against Colorado, and that was 10 years ago in 1974. But Jimmy Morris, of course, gave the Spartans one of the biggest touchdowns they've had this year. That was the, I would guess you might call it, Rick, sort of an insurance touchdown. Although the extra point was missed, it gave them that extra big 6 points.
When you can get a quick one like that, it really does something. It soups you up even more.
Second down, about 3. Rogers, again, good defensive play by Derek Bunch, number 52, roaring through there. And Rogers barely got it back to the line of scrimmage.
Rogers looked like he was going to go inside. Then he dipped to the outside, but Derek Bunch, doing his job, came from the outside and squashed him back to the inside, made the tackle. Big play, Michigan State defense, third down.
A mighty big play. 3rd and 3. State scrambles the defense to go with a scrambling offense. Like musical chairs. Here's Harbaugh. And Harbaugh looks back. He has his man, Eddie Garrett. First down at midfield. The fullback coming out of the backfield, knocked down by Lonnie Young. 18 yards on the play.
Excuse me, Bill. Give Eddie Garrett credit, the fullback number 32. He's just kind of a very, very secondary receiver. He's going to block right there, but he sees Jim Harbaugh in trouble, and a great athlete reacts to the situation. He gets himself open. First down, Michigan.
First down at midfield. Eddie Garrett comes from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Rogers makes the good cut up behind a super block. Gilvani Johnson came back and really nailed the defensive right end, and Rogers cut in behind it. I think you'll see it on the replay.
This is what Michigan has to do. Get outside on first down and run play action. Garrett's in front of him, but Rogers shows his great running speed and talent and turns it upfield, and Rogers was upset. He thought he should have had 6.
Now Michigan's line moving a little bit more with authority and moving the Michigan State defenders out of there. I'm sure they have been given a bit of a tongue lashing by Bo Schembechler because the line has not been playing up to par. Hand off quickly to Garrett. Gets a couple. 8 minutes and 55 seconds to go in the second period. Michigan State has 2 touchdowns to its credit today. One by virtue of an 85-yard long drive that ate almost 7 minutes off the clock, and the other that only took about 10 seconds. A run of 87 yards on a punt return by Bob Morris. 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. It's 13-0. Michigan now in Michigan State territory at the 37. Big hole, and Rogers tries to slice through it, but coming through very, very quickly.
Number 94, Joe Curran. Watch him slide along the line of scrimmage. Number 94, right over the left guard there. He sheds the block, refuses to stay blocked, and you always say in coaching, keep your feet clean. Don't let him get to it so you can get to the football. Joe Curran, good job, Michigan State.
Triando Markray, number 18. I guess really the fastest receiver that Michigan has, goes into the lineup, replacing Gilvani Johnson. He comes out of Detroit DeForest High School, and every time he caught a pass last year, he averaged 28 yards. And time here's called now, as Jim Harbaugh was a little bit confused about what the situation would be. So timeout on the field, 13-0 is the score, and we'll be right back after this message from your local year at the University of Michigan. Seemed to be a bit upset by something that happened on the field. Anyway, time was called and charged against Michigan. Third down. 3rd and 5. Markray split out wide to the left. Harbaugh had plenty of time to talk with his coach about this play. Gives it to him on a draw. It's Rick Rogers. They set it up nicely. He gets inside the 20 as Phil Parker and Terry Lewis bring him down. Good call, wouldn't you say, Rick?
This is an excellent call because it's a third down call, and they didn't throw the football, and Michigan State is in what is called a pass defense, a 52 defense. Excellent blocking. Everybody had a hat on, and Rogers turns the ball upfield. Good call, Michigan, from the bench.
And the Wolverines need some good calls at this point, trailing 13-0. 7.5 minutes to go in the first half. Harbaugh, a little stutter step, pitches it out to Rogers. And Rogers goes out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Giovanni Johnson with a good block out in front.
The toughest play in football to defend is the option. That time Harbaugh and Rogers ran it well.
Florida leading Syracuse, the conqueror of Nebraska last week, 3-0 in the first quarter. Second down. Ball is on the 13-yard line. Second and 5. Little jab step to the left. Rogers tried to throw the defense off, but they weren't fooled much as Jim Morrissey put the shoulder into him at about the 11-yard line. So it's third down. Third down and about 2. Pittsburgh leading East Carolina 14-0 in the second quarter. Third down and 2. On the 11, Michigan trailing 13-0. 6:40 to go in the first half. This is the deepest the Wolverines have been in Michigan State territory. Lead man through, and it's going to be close. Eddie Garrett, the fullback, was stacked up by Joe Curran, number 94. And this will be very, very close to a first down. Otherwise, it's fourth and about a foot.
It may be a fourth down, but I believe Bo will go for it. Good play by the Michigan State defensive line. You pointed it out a couple times today already. They are just beating the Michigan offensive line to the punch.
The chain will come in and we'll get an opportunity to eyeball it and see exactly how far it is, but I don't think it's more than a foot. I'll call it 2 feet.
I love it.
Now, this is the mark of a football team. And Bo Schembechler knows it. He sends in Bob Perriman, the fullback. He normally is the man who gets the short yardage. So he's got Perriman and Garrett, 2 fullbacks in the lineup. He's got Rick Rogers back there as the deep man. So that power eye for fourth and 2 feet. Rogers on the fake. And it is Harbaugh on the bootleg who takes the ball down to the 3-yard line. Great fake by Rogers.
Great fake. Watch it now. Rogers right up in there. They think he has the football, and Harbaugh pulls it out and turns it up the field. First down, Michigan. Again, the threat of the option.
Terry Lewis was the man you should give credit to for saving the touchdown. That veteran from Highland Park came in and wasn't fooled by the boot. First and goal to go on the 3-yard line. Jamie Morris has gone in the lineup of the power eye. Harbaugh swings outside, cuts up in, keeps dragging players with him to the 1-yard line. And John Jones, the replacement for Potter, who had surgery this last week at defensive tackle, made the stop.
You're at the line of scrimmage. Watch the penetration right there and the good moves right. Oh, good job defense for Michigan State, but Harbaugh out there, he wanted to go up in there, but John Jones says, you're not going.
And ironically, John Jones comes from the hometown of Bo Schembechler, Barberton, Ohio. This will be the 13th play of the drive. Second down, goal to go on the 1. Handoff Garrett. Wedges his way into the end zone for the touchdown. Michigan has scored, and look at the streamers come down into the end zone in the northwest end of the stadium. It
all counts when you're down inside the scoring zone. Eddie Garrett, great blocking from the right side. Just look, he's going to be tackled, but he won't be denied. It's effort, it's emotion, it's wanting to score, and Eddie Garrett wanted 6 points.
Bob Bergeron is in to try for the extra point, and of course with that 13-6 up there, the extra point is extremely important. All the streamers coming out, and they have to stop things for a moment here in that end zone, as I pointed out. Everybody unloading here. That score came 4:56 in the second period. So that Michigan State defense has been very stingy. Bo Schembechler was talking to Rick Forzano and me yesterday, and he was saying one of the worst things you can do is to score your first touchdown and miss the point.
That's right.
He doesn't want this one missed, particularly since State missed its second one. It's up and it's good. So we have a 13-7 ball game. 4:56 to go in the first half, and we'll be right back after the... Well, the key in that long drive was the pass to Garrett for 18 yards on a third down situation. This was the ultimate score with Garrett going in. Time-consuming drive of 6 minutes and 16 seconds. I'm sure, though, that from a coaching standpoint, Rick Forzano, that's what a coach wants to see, that sustained drive, because that's what gives him consistency.
That's right, and the thing that gave him the sustained drive was Harbaugh running that option. Rodgers coming in, he was a catalyst, and that big play from Harbaugh to Garrett that you pointed out, that was a big third down play.
And the draw.
Yes, sir.
That one that Bo called.
Sir, third down play.
There are the return men. Larry Jackson, deep, number 33. Schlopey, the barefooted kicker, goes in to kick this one short. He kicks him high and short. Bobby Morse is really level at the 16-yard line. There's a marker down, a penalty marker down. Tim Schulte, number 29. Watch him come down if we see it again. Coverage excellent on this high kick, and it's a clipping penalty against State.
What an inspiration for Michigan. You've just scored and the adrenaline is flowing. Watch number 6 and watch Schulte from the right side. Watch the pressure by Schulte, but watch number 6 put the tackle on him and the hit. Boy, when you score, there's just something it does to your kickoff coverage team.
Al Bishop was number 6. So good credit to this sophomore from Miami.
First down.
That moves the ball back to about the 8-yard line, half the distance to the goal line, and now Michigan State has its back against its own end zone. Ingram comes out wide to the right. 13-7 is the score. In case you just joined us, Michigan was trailing at one point, 13-0. 4 minutes, 53 seconds to go. Big hole opens up and then it closes as Mike Mallory makes the stop on Keith Gates. I thought Bo Schembechler's comment, Rick, and I didn't have a chance really to say anything to you about it earlier, that the difference between the number 1 team in the country and the number 50 team in the country is almost nothing.
Absolutely. Parity in college football is here. That's why you have the Syracuses upsetting the Nebraskas, and here you have a Michigan State 2 or 3 touchdown underdog, baby, and they are ahead.
Second down, 6 on the 12. Good protection for Urema. He goes across the center to Ingram, and he's buckled at the 17-yard line. Short of the first down, Garland Rivers, number 13, coming in from behind, giving him a punishing tackle.
If you want to be a receiver, you better have courage, because when you go in the middle like number 11, Mark Ingram, and it's a little bit of a high toss, you know you're going to get hit like you are right there by Mike Mallory, but Ingram holds on.
Third down and 1. Gates staggers forward for the first down. Great extra effort. Michigan was trying to stop that so they could get the ball back here with 3 minutes and 24 seconds to go in this first half. And an extra little bit of spurt gives the Spartans a first down on the 24-yard line.
This is a big first down for Michigan State because Michigan has just scored. Their defense is really revved up, and the way to get them out of the ball game and tone them down a little bit is make a first down just like Michigan State did.
Larry Jackson is split out wide to the right. Ingram goes to the left, and Morse comes into the slot. And off to Gates. Gets a couple. Mike Mallory, whose brother Doug started today. A lot of brothers here. The Hammersteins, the two brothers of Michigan, the Mallorys. Got two brothers on the Michigan State team by the name of Perlis, whose father is the coach.
And I believe Brad Cochran of Michigan, his brother's on the Michigan State team.
Gates has 4 carries, 15 yards. 2nd and 7. Urema does a nice job of shrugging off a tackle and throws. It is almost intercepted. Intended for Bush Roll, and Doug Mallory, the strong safety, number 8, almost had that ball in his arms. That was a pass that Urema should not have thrown.
George Perlis at the half will get Dave Urema and say, Dave, please, when you're scrambling like that, do not throw that ball. Just do like you did a couple plays before and get what you can out of it. This should have been intercepted right there. I'll tell you, George Perlis, he lost about 3 years on that one.
An ominous note, number 52, Kevin Brooks, Michigan's finest defensive player, is coming out of that lineup, and it does not look good. It looks like a left ankle. 6'6", 245, an aggressive player, certainly all conference caliber. And knowing the kind of player he is, I'll tell you, if it was any possible physical way he could continue, he would. 2:18 to go, first half, 3rd down. Urema over the center, completed. Bobby Morris and Eric Campbell, a freshman, makes the stop on him short of the first down at the 32.
Good call, throw underneath the linebacker, Mallory, Morris. It's a crossing pattern, a good call, a safe call down in there. Even though it's 4th down, Michigan State will punt the football. That's a good little move by Michigan State.
And with Mosienko's tremendous foot, Michigan State will have a pretty good chance to send Michigan fairly deep with only 2 minutes and 3 seconds to go in this first half. 4th down and a foot. Mosienko's been averaging 50 yards a kick today. 7-0 in favor of Michigan State at the end of the first quarter. Michigan State upped that to 13-0 at 12:41 of the second quarter. Michigan came back with 4:56 to go in the half on a long sustained drive. 50-year-old George Perlis on the sidelines. That is, of course, not George Perlis that you're looking at right there. That's one of the assistant coaches.
Right now, Michigan has come close on a couple punts by Mosienko. I would not be surprised if they didn't have Michigan, if didn't have an all-out punt rush on and try to block this one.
Giovanni Johnson is the only man back. Long count. Better hurry. That's going to be much too much. We're trying to get Michigan offside, I think.
That's what we call the nothing play. All you do is come up there and give a lot of mumbo jumbo if you're the quarterback, hoping the defensive people will be drawn off sides, because the way Mosienko punts the ball 5 yards won't make a difference.
Ralph Mosienko out of Bridgman, Michigan. Oh, what a valuable asset he has been to the Michigan State Spartans. Whenever you can get somebody who can be a placement kicker as well as a punter, you really got it made. There's a big rush put on by Garland Rivers, and he almost got a chunk of it. Giovanni Johnson falls at the 32-yard line. And Michigan has 1 minute and 28 seconds now to try to either tie this game or go ahead. Here's the rush, and you can see Garland Rivers, number 13 from the left side, almost getting it.
Perfect layup, beautiful layout by Rivers. I'll tell you, that's where you want to go for that little spot. He almost had it.
and 10. And here's Harbaugh over the middle. Perfect pass right into the arms of Triando Marcre. 13 or 14 yards on it. And I would guess that Michigan State may be giving them a little bit of that room there. The short ones, but not the bomb. Bobbitt making the stop.
Well-conceived passer, going without a huddle. Good move by Michigan.
On the 47. Marker. Maybe somebody moved. That often happens when you go without the huddle. The timing, of course, is not there. Well, according to Jim Bonds on the sideline, who has talked with the Michigan doctor, Dr. Jerry O'Connor, Brooks has a strained knee. Now, we don't know the seriousness of it.
False start on the offense.
Yeah, that's what we sort of surmised might have happened. False start. And a 5-yard penalty. So we'll keep you apprised about Kevin Brooks, Michigan's finest defensive player, who is on the sidelines right now. Right in there to Sim Nelson, the tight end. And Bobbitt chases him out of bounds at the 48-yard line.
The completed pass before, Sim Nelson went into the sideline. Triandos Markway made a turn. They threw to Markway. This time they covered Markway. Sims is in the open in the flat. Harbaugh hits him. Good play, Michigan. Penalty on the play. Will be negated.
To go in the first half. Michigan State 13, Michigan 7 in the 77th renewal of one of the best rivalries in all of college football. Coming into today's game, Michigan State was a 2-touchdown underdog, and anybody who's ever been connected with this game said, posh.
That's right.
No such thing as an underdog in this game. First and 25. Harbaugh getting a nice block to give him a little bit more room. He's going to have to go out of bounds now. Oh, and he was hit out of bounds. That's going to be a penalty, I'm sure. Tom Tyree hit him as he ran out of bounds, but I don't see a penalty. I don't see a marker. I thought he was clearly out. See what you think.
Harbaugh, good coverage by the Michigan State defense. A good pickup block there, but there is no one open downfield, and Harbaugh just has to pull it down. And as you pointed out, Tom Tyree looked like he might hit him too far out of bounds, but the referee did not call it.
So it's still 25 yards to go for Michigan, and a second down. Both bands, by the way, will be here at halftime. We'll have an interesting halftime show for you and keep you up to date on some of the other scores. Over the middle to Rogers, right off his fingertips. I think he heard Tyree coming up.
I don't know if it was so much Tyree, but Rick Rogers has not played that much, and they faked the ball to Rogers. You see the complete coverage. If you were the quarterback, you'd see the linebackers. You see them backing off. All they want to do is hit the ball in front of the linebackers, and the Michigan State linebackers say, fine, throw that ball because that clock will be running if you complete it, or you'll have to take a timeout.
51 seconds to go in the second quarter. 57-year-old Bo Schembechler against 50-year-old George Perlis. Each man with a great background in coaching and in playing. Matching wits here. Incomplete. Intended for Sim Nelson, the tight end, and Terry Lewis covering on the play. And that ate up only 6 seconds. However, it's fourth down.
I believe that this pass was pretty well thrown to Sim Nelson. Again, it's off of the play action, trying to get those linebackers up and hit Sim Nelson coming across. The ball is well thrown. Should have been a completed pass, but it's fourth down, and Michigan must punt.
And Bobby Morse, who earlier ran a punt back 87 yards for a Michigan State touchdown, is back at the 25. High kick, almost straight up in the air. Not going to do much here. Michigan not giving Morris any chance at all. Just kick it as high as you can kick it and get down there. It's amazing how much respect you can command when you run back once 87 yards.
That's That's right, because you pointed out, you said it gives you encouragement. When you once do it, you think you can do it again. And Bobby Morris is thinking that back there when he's that single safety on punt returns.
So it very well looks like Michigan State will go to the locker room at halftime holding a 6-point lead over arch rival Michigan. The thing that would be ominous in the thinking of Michigan State is that this has not been a second half team. In fact, it's been a terrible fourth quarter team being outscored 54-0 this year. This may be the day they can change it around. That golf cart, by the way, is going to the sidelines, and in it is Kevin Brooks, who is being taken to the dressing room. I'm sure we will not see him again today. They'll probably take him up and x-ray him immediately. Urema pours it in there, and it's dropped. Vino Bell. There's a Butch Roll. That's who it is.
That points out how Michigan State is playing this game today. They are saying, hey, baby, we're going to take some chances that time. Here it is with 30-some seconds left, and Urema throws the ball to Butch Roll. That's the way to play the game of football.
You know, if Kevin Brooks is lost, that will be the second really fine defensive player Michigan has lost. Tony Gant broke his leg 2 weeks ago, and he was singled out as the best man in the secondary. Bo calls Brooks the best man up front. Nice running by Keith Gates. First down at the 35-yard line. I'm sure what's in the mind of the Spartans right now is to get that ball close enough for Mr. Cannonball to come out there.
You don't have to get it too close for Mosienko because he can kick. Well, he's kicked, I think, one almost 60 yards at one time.
Got one last week of 54 against Purdue. We saw that one and had plenty, didn't it?
Oh, plenty is right.
Urema, who's been flawless today, picks out Butch Roll, the tight end, and he's just short of the first down as Doug Mallory made the stop and gets up rather slowly. Number 8. Right shoulder.
Excuse me, Bill. The thing about Dave Urema, he looks like now he's becoming more and more of a passer, not a thrower. He's standing in there tough and just whistling the ball and using that strong arm and wrist that he has.
It's amazing what a week will do. He's 8 for 12, 79 yards, and what's more important is, you know, he's been able to punctuate that offense with those passes.
Big thing, though, why is he doing it? He's getting protection. He feels confident back there.
Third quarter, Penn State 14, Maryland 3.
So time here has been called, showing only 4 seconds on the clock.
BYU 28, Colorado State 3.
Because there is such a very full halftime here, we'll just do a very quick recap of what has happened, because we do want you to enjoy what you can of the music of both of these fine bands. 4 seconds to go. And will he go for the long bomb? Well, why not? Down he goes to the sidelines. It's Ingram, and it is speared by Garland Rivers of Michigan, but it is an academic interception. The time has run out at the end of the first half, and as those two teams go down that tunnel, just watch the Michigan State cheerleaders and everybody standing over the side patting their Warriors on the back. It's been a fine first half, and Michigan State leads it 13-7. That's the end of the first half of Stroh's Big Ten Game of the Week. 13-7 is the score. We'll be back with our halftime activities on SportsView, the Big Ten Football Network, following this pause for station identification. Michigan State leading Michigan 13-7 at halftime in a game that the Spartans have not won since 1978, but they certainly have a leg up at the end of the first half. Here's how the scoring went. The Spartans got a 1-yard touchdown dive by Butler following an 85-yard march that assumed or consumed 6 minutes and 45 seconds. And at 5:50 of the first quarter, Michigan State had a 7-0 lead. The Spartans then, in the second quarter, with 12:41 to go in it, had an 87-yard punt return, one of the most brilliant runs that Michigan State has had, and certainly one of the finest runs in the Michigan Stadium, with Bobby Morse, the veteran from Muskegon, Michigan, scampering down the eastern sidelines to score. The kick was missed. It was 13-0. Then Eddie Garrett climaxed a 72-yard drive for Michigan with 4:56 to go in the first half, and the point was good, and that's how we have a score of 13-7 now. Bill Fleming along with Rick Forzano here in our booth, and I think I'd like to ask a former coach what he would be doing at this point considering the track record. Now, what I mean by that is that Michigan State has not been a second half team. And as I mentioned, that ominous figure of 54-0 in the fourth quarter. How many times this year has George Perles gone to the dressing room feeling good and coming out of the game feeling terrible?
But I think this is the best first half that Michigan State has played, and George Perles is going to say to him, listen, we've taken it to them the first half. Let's do it again. Don't even worry about errors or anything. Let it all hang out because we want this football game against Michigan. If you're Michigan, you're Bo, you're going to say, hey, baby, we've got Rodgers in the football game. We can go wide. We can use some play action on 1st and 10. We've got to throw out some of our man passes because I believe Michigan State has fooled them by playing a little bit more zone than man, but we've got a football game on our hands, and that missed extra point by Mosienko could hurt Michigan State.
Good point. All right, we'll have more of a recap, but right now it's time to have matters of music here, and two of the finest bands in all of college football. And to cover that, let's join Jim Bonds.
Thanks, Bill Fleming. It is halftime. We are lucky to have both bands on hand at Michigan Stadium this afternoon. Before we go to the Michigan State band, though, just an update on Kevin Brooks, the big defensive tackle for the University of Michigan. He's a dandy, of course, and right now he left the field about 10 minutes ago with ice pack on his knee, a strained knee. After talking with Dr. O'Connor, it's too early to tell. He may not be back for the rest of the game. That would be a big blow to Michigan. Okay, right now, the Michigan State band. We'll be back with halftime flashback in just a moment.
It's been a pretty even ball game, and the only thing that does not show there is 87 yards that Bobby Morse turned in on the punt return. So the score is Michigan State 13, Michigan 7 in a game that Michigan State has not won since 1978, but is leading by 6 at halftime. We'll be right back with the second half kickoff of the Stroh's Big Ten Game of the Week following the... Bill Fleming, Rick Forzano, and Jim Bonds back at the Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. The Wolverines are huddled in the tunnel on the far side, and when they come out, they will have one big roar greeting them. They are trailing their arch rivals from East Lansing by the score of 13-7, and the crowd will try to give them a little inspiration here. Michigan State, however, will get the football to begin the second half because Michigan won the toss to begin the game and chose to receive. You can see them poised over there, ready to come charging out. Michigan State's already made its entrance. Here they come. One man who is noticeably missing is number 52. Defensive tackle Kevin Brooks of Michigan has apparently been kept in the locker room. Let's see if we can spot what they're going to do here. They're all huddled around Bo Schembechler. I see him.
He's there.
I see him. Kevin, what I've got is the binoculars on Brooks, and they have taped up both knees. So I don't know what that means, Rick Borzano, whether he got a strain in one of them, and it's a little more, the left one is a little more heavily taped than the right one. Number 52 there.
He may have, a lot of times linemen will tape their knees just like that, but he may have had one taped already, and then they're just, the one that was injured, they retaped it, and he's ready to go. These players are tough in football.
Jim Bonds may have a comment on that. Jim?
You better believe it. What that other goddamn team win or
Bill, this is Jim Bonds on the sidelines. We just talked with the trainers, and apparently Kevin Brooks will be starting the second half. I'm not sure why they taped both knees. It was his left knee that was strained. We'll try to find out that later, but the important fact is that Brooks apparently is going to play, in fact, going to start here in the second half.
All right, that's good news for Michigan. Larry Jackson will be the deep man. Todd Schlopy will be kicking. Jackson there on the left side on the goal line. Schlopy with the bare foot. Schlopy kicks a very high ball, giving the defenders a chance to get down. And with the new rule in college football, perhaps height and accuracy is more important than distance. Larry Jackson. Oh, he can move, too. Goes to the sidelines, and he's snowed under at the 17-yard line. Al Bishop, number 6, was the first man down on the specialty team to hit him. So the Spartans of Michigan State, trying to overcome a second-half nemesis, will get the ball to begin the second half, leading 13-7. Yarima, the quarterback. Carl Butler, and Brooks is in there. Number 52, toeing in. A little more pressure on Yarima, but he gets it to Bobby Morris, and he's got almost a first down at the 27-yard line. It'll be very, very close. Mallory and Cochran covering on the play. Bobby Morris, the hero, certainly, of the first half.
Good call right out of the box. You're down inside the sack there. Come out with a little play action, make something happen, put it to the flat end Morris, and really come out and say to Michigan, hey, we're not worried about the fact we haven't scored. We're going after you.
Just short of the first down. Less than a yard. Two tight ends, Roll and Belk are in. Butler tries to weave his way, and there's a marker down, and that may be a holding penalty. Both 71 and 89. Rogers was over there trying to make the block on Kevin Brooks. Usually when that happens, in a situation like that, it's an offensive holding penalty. The referee is Otto Kurtz.
How important is Kevin Brooks, number 52? He took on the blocker and just forced the play right back into the backfield. You can see why Kevin Brooks is an All-American. Number 52, Kevin Brooks, the defensive lineman who came back in after injury. He fights the block off by number 71, Rogers. Look at him right there, and he makes the tackle. Good play.
Yeah, did you see number 71 trying to hold him, trying to keep from doing it? Well, sometimes that's the only thing you can do.
I'll guarantee against a player like that, that's the best move you have.
That was a rather costly penalty, moving him all the way back to the 11.5-yard line. We've just begun the third quarter of play. Michigan State leading Michigan 13-7. At one time, the Spartans had a 13-point lead. Yarima, a little more heat this time, but he manages to get the ball off to Ingram, and Ingram is knocked down at the 23-yard line by Brad Cochran, a junior out of Royal Oak, and went to Brother Rice.
Urema shows real courage because, as you point out, look at the pressure. Look at Brooks just turning it up, the pressure from the outside. He finds Ingram in that little seam. Third down, but they made something happen, and they have a chance for third down.
Other games in the Big Ten today: Ohio State at Purdue, Iowa at Northwestern. Following this game, you will see the Wisconsin and Illinois game with Ray Lane and Jeff Logan calling the action for you. Then tonight, Indiana at Minnesota. More pressure, but again, the ball is delivered perfectly. Keith Gates on the receiving end for a first down.
Bill, if you remember last week against Purdue, Purdue kept throwing to that underneath man, and that's exactly what Michigan State is doing this time to Keith Gates. It looks like that Michigan's linebackers are backing up out of there trying to take the deep pass, and Michigan State is throwing underneath. First down.
On the 40. When Michigan State first got the ball in the first quarter, they had a very impressive 85-yard drive that resulted in a touchdown. And now they're beginning this third quarter the same way. Nice hole opens up at right tackle as Keith Gates roars through and gets about 6. Tim Anderson and Rodney Lyles making the stop on it. This was the graphic that we talked about earlier in the second half. Michigan State being outscored 75-10. But look at that fourth quarter. That's what's been the big mystery.
Boy, that is a barrier they have to overcome.
And that's what Michigan has done in the second half, being outscored 44-41. Bobby Morris slides in the slot on the left side on a 2nd and 1. Nice hole for Gates, and he's got a first down across midfield as Kevin Brooks makes the stop at the Michigan 47-yard line.
And you've got a team, a defensive team of the quickness and speed of Michigan. Go right at them quickly, because if you try to delay or go wide too much, their pursuit will get you. This is a good strategy by Michigan State. Go right at them.
I think the big thing about this ball game is you have not heard the very nasty word turnover today.
That is a nasty word.
Well, I'll tell you, Gates just never stops. I mean, he was really stopped at the 47-yard line, and he managed to get it back down to over the 45. So it brings up a 2nd and 7. George Perlis on the sideline. You can always tell George because he's got that manila sheet in his hand. That's the game plan. He sleeps with that, by the way. He puts it right under his pillow. Nobody going to find out what's on that sheet, except maybe Mrs. Perlis. Intended for Bobby Morris. So it brings up the 3rd down. And this is what Michigan wants to do. Put the pressure on here and get that ball back.
Urema showed a little maturity that time. Morris was really covered in the flat, and Urema just threw it out of bounds rather than throwing that interception.
I'm really impressed with Urema in 1 week. He seemed to be a little bit hesitant, not quite sure of himself. Although he ran the team well, I would say that in this 1 7-day period, he has really come along a long ways. Oh, and he stumbles and falls just as I said that. I don't think we would find that that was all his fault. It looked like number 65 there was in his way, Al Akana. Well, since Brooks is in the lineup, I'm sure that we are well aware that everything's okay on him, so we'll watch him as he comes to the sideline, not limping at all now. And it looked like that last sequence, he was ready to play football.
Well,
all right, here's the
moving.
4th and 14 situation. Kick. Mozienko nails this one out of bounds just inside the 20-yard line. No chance. 10 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the third quarter. 13-7 is the score. We'll be right back after this message. The Michigan Wolverines come out of their huddle smartly now at the 20-yard line. They seem to have a little bit more zip. They realize that they are only 6 down, and they had a good drive at the end of the second quarter. getting their hands on the ball for the first time here. Oh, there's not much there as Jamie Morse really got a shoulder from Terry Lewis. Jamie Morse is a freshman out of Ayers, Massachusetts, where he was an all-state performer and the back of the state. And the ball is placed down on the 22-yard line. I'll tell you, it's a tough game to have to make your first start in, this pressure-packed game between Michigan and Michigan State. Morris on the deep pitch. Makes the cut. And he got 3, got his nose in the 25-yard line, but once again, the pursuit by Anthony Bell and Kelly Quinn made the stop on him.
Michigan has decided they're going to try to kick that ball and get it to the outside, this time to Jamie Morse.
Now, when you say kick, now that coach, that's a term.
Get that ball to the outside. I'm sorry.
That only coaches use. When I hear kick, it means kick. But coaches use it in a different way. You better explain that.
Well, that means to get the ball to the outside in a hurry. Just pitch it out and get it to the outside. Good, Bill. I'm glad you told me.
I once remember using the term boot. He boots it. What I really meant to say was that he fumbles it. But you see, that it does have a different verbal meaning. 3rd and 5. Pass is right in the slot, right where it should be to Jamie Morris for the first down. Tom Tyree making the stop. That's about as accurate a pass as Harbaugh has thrown, I think. He really put it right on the numbers. A couple of Big Ten scores. Purdue is leading second-ranked Ohio State 7-0 at West Lafayette. First quarter. And Iowa in the first quarter beating Northwestern 14-0. Not much there. Tom Allen making the stop on Bob Perriman. Just watching him, they're carrying him, well, literally off to the bench. He really got a shot on, it looks like the left arm. Boy, he's in pain. Been replaced by Greg Thornton, outside linebacker or defensive end. Here is the option play with Harbaugh turning it up, and he is pulled down by the face mask at the 39-yard line. Anthony Bell didn't do that on purpose. He just reached out and happened to grab the mask, and that will give Michigan a first down.
Well, and Anthony Bell did such a great job of defending the option. You tell your linebacker, stretch that quarterback to the sideline. Make that sideline your friend, and Bell just stretches it. Watch number 51, stretches, gets Harbaugh the sideline, face mask, inadvertent face mask, but there is a penalty.
And the inadvertent one, of course, is the short penalty, the 5-yarder.
Defense, 5 yards.
So it's Michigan's ball on the 44-yard line. The Wolverines are trailing 13-7. We're in the third period. 8 minutes and 5 seconds to go. Well, you just can't help but everybody's being buoyed up by the Tigers' victory last night. It was really amazing in the press box, wasn't it, Rick, to come in here today? Everybody had a big smile on their face. It was a big lift for the entire state. Marker down. Well, that was a developing good play. Big hole. It was John Elliott, the tackle on the left side, who moved.
Something Bo Schembecker doesn't want. They've got a little drive going here, and they got momentum, and all of a sudden, boom, it's a 5-yard penalty. They now have 1st and 15.
Well, also, Rick, did you see the way the play had developed? It looked like it was a huge hole. The head man not too happy. 7 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. Michigan has trailed the entire game and still does, 13-7. Harbaugh floats one. He's got his man, Jim Nelson. A collision at the 37-yard line with Paul Bobbitt, but he held on to the ball.
Sim Nelson, great grab, courageous grab, good throw by Harbaugh right in the seam. They're starting to find that seam, Michigan is. But watch Sim Nelson get hit after he catches the ball. This takes courage.
It takes some kind of a neck to withstand that pressure. And that's where the isometrics and the weights really help. Boy, Jamie Morse fumbles the ball. It's wide open out there in the flat, and it's covered by Michigan State at the 40-yard line. Down Tyree, number 28. And the man who made the stop on it was Phil Parker. So give credit to both of those Michigan State players. And Morris looks like he's out cold at the 40. It's not Morris, it's Jim Harbaugh. The Michigan quarterback is down. We'll be back after this message. Well, this is a scene we don't like to see. Jim Harbaugh, the Michigan quarterback, is lying face down at the 40-yard line. Now, we can look at it again and see what happened, Rick Borzano.
As a football coach, you hate this. You concern yourself when you see the ball on the ground and Harbaugh hands the ball off, but it's a natural reaction. He is going to try to recover the fumble as he should, but boom, they hit helmets together and you see Harbaugh go down.
So on the fumble recovery, which was covered by Tyree of Michigan State, Jim Harbaugh, the Michigan quarterback, and look at Bo Schembechler. You can see how dejected he is as he walks back to the sidelines. I don't have to say anything about that. He's going to have a new quarterback in there, and it'll be Chris Zerbrugg.
Well, let's just hope that it's not that serious. But a fine young man, Jim Harbaugh. You know, he's the son of Jack Harbaugh, the coach at Western Michigan. There you see the...
Well, that's Ryan. He's warming up, but I don't know whether the game plan was to put in Zerbrugg, number 12, in place of Harbaugh. And Zerbrugg is warming up also. They're bringing him to the sideline. Now, I'll tell you, that's a good indication. If they thought he was really seriously hurt, they'd take him right over to the tunnel. I think what they're just doing is saying, okay, let's get him to the sideline and let's make sure he knows what day it is and what time it is and all of those things. I think if there had been anything any more serious, you would have seen him go out through the tunnel. That's Jerry O'Connor, the team physician on the right-hand side in the dark blue jacket.
Yeah. Did he go for the fumble?
All right, it's Michigan State's ball on the fumble recovery at the 40-yard line. And so I believe that is first turnover of the game, right? Oh, they one interception. Michigan had an interception at the end of the first half. It was a meaningless interception, by the way. So it really didn't hurt anything. This one hurt. Maybe they could put a new category in there. And I just happened to think of that.
Well,
turnovers that hurt and turnovers that are painless. That was a hurt.
Yeah, but as a coach, I don't know of any painless turnovers.
Well, no, I was talking about the one at the end of the first half where they intercepted the ball in the final play. (13-7) is the score. Michigan State out in front. 7 minutes to go, third quarter. Heat goes on. Fumble. It's a loose ball, and it is still loose. I believe it's covered by Michigan State because there was a green jersey right on the ground as Scarcelli and Brooks took the heat.
I want to look at
this. To the quarterback.
I want to look at this because it looked like to me Urima's arm was coming forward and it should have been an incomplete pass, but it is called a fumble. But Scarcelli is getting him from the backside and he's trying to come on forward, but I guess not. I didn't read it right. It was a fumble, but Michigan State did recover.
I think he was just in the process of getting that arm up when it went out of there. Second down and 9. We may have one whale of a fourth quarter here, the way this game is going. I don't know whether I'm just reading it into it or not, but it seems that the Michigan defense is saying, okay, you nailed our quarterback, and now we are really going to start playing some tough football.
What they're really probably saying is that the fact that they've lost their number one quarterback, the defense has to play better. This time it's Kevin Brooks stepping to the left, coming back to the inside. A tough move, big tackle, Kevin Brooks. It's now 3rd and long.
Michigan State's gained 1 foot and 2 downs. 5 minutes, 43 seconds to go in the third quarter. Michigan State's out in front, 13-7. Morse moves into the slot, leaving a single back with Gates. And good protection by Urema. Gets it outside. It's Heath Gates, and he's spilled at the 44-yard line by Scarcelli, and that is 5 yards short of a first down. Listen to this crowd.
Screen pass by Michigan State out to the left, but 85 Scarcelli and 80 Rodney Lyles. They read it. They converge to the ball carrier. Boom. Good play by the Michigan defense. 4th down. They must punt.
Oh, what a kick. Oh, that one's up over the rim of the stadium. Courageous catch by Gilvani Johnson at the 23-yard line. How did he ever hang on to that one? Well, the Wolverines will be going with a different quarterback when we come back. We'll be right back after this message from your local station. A bit of a surprise. Russ Rhine, a sophomore from Evergreen Park, Illinois, number 3, who did not see any action at all in 1983, is now the Michigan quarterback. That's a bit of a surprise. We thought that Chris Zerbrug would be the replacement for Jim Harbaugh. Rick Rogers on the carry of about 5. Tripped up by Tom Tyree. All right, let's find out what happened to Harbaugh. Jim Bonds, do you have that word?
Yes, Bill, they just have taken Jim Harbaugh, the junior quarterback for Michigan, away from the field on the golf cart. It is a shoulder injury, possible bone fracture of his left arm. Is it left arm or right arm? His left arm. So Jimmy Harbaugh obviously seriously injured. He has been taken from the field on a golf cart. Looks like a broken arm.
Oh, that pass was caught. Lying on the ground, Lonnie Young reached up and grabbed the ball after he had deflected it out of the arms of Vince Meade. So Michigan State has the ball on a weird interception at the 33-yard line.
Cornerbacks are supposed to react. You cover the receiver, you look back into that backfield. When that quarterback moves that arm and looks your way, you move up. Lonnie Young is there. Great defensive play. Concentrates on the ball, and it's an interception for Michigan State. And Michigan State is creating the turnovers instead of doing them themselves. 2 of them.
First down on the 33-yard line. State leading 13-7. There for Butler. Forced out by Rodney Lyles, and there's a penalty marker at the 33. Exactly 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Score is 13-7. There's been no scoring in the third quarter. That was our halftime score. Holding penalty against Michigan State. Michigan has lost its quarterback, Jim Harbaugh, to apparently a fracture, or a suspected fracture, of his left arm. That would have been the one, obviously, that was hit because he was going after the loose ball on the ground after the fumble by Morris. And it was that collision with Tyree that apparently caused the injury. And we understand that it is Russell Rein, not Ryan, so I stand corrected, but he spells his name R-E-I-N, and everybody I've ever known has had that name, Bo Ryan and Elliot Ryan, have pronounced it Ryan, but he pronounces it Rein. First and 20. Urema fires over the middle, and that one's almost picked off. Intended for Larry Jackson, and Garland Rivers almost got it.
Urema set strong, but there's pretty good coverage downfield. He's hassled just a little bit, but watch the effort by Garland Rivers. He wanted that football on the tip. That's the tip drill that you talk about so often.
Second and 20. Ball on the 43-yard line of Michigan. Michigan has had 2 turnovers today. Michigan State 1. Across the middle, a perfect pass to Bobby Morse. And he's cut down by Andy Moeller at the 38 or 37-yard line. Let's see where they mark it. 38, short of a first down, of course, because of the long yardage due to the penalty.
It's one thing to create a turnover like the Michigan State defense did, but now the offense has got to take advantage, and Michigan State's defense is really showing that they want this football game.
You mean Michigan?
Michigan's defense is doing it. I'm sorry.
Third down, 14. Big play here because of Mosienko's leg. If they can get just a little bit closer, they might get 3 out of it. 16-7 would look awfully good at this point with Michigan without a starting quarterback. There was a marker down at the line, and whether it was a movement there or whether there was too much time, I don't know. It was a dead ball foul. Delay a game. Well, that forces the Spartans back even farther, but did you see that penetration?
I think the reason there was so much penetration, though, the Michigan State people just kind of let up.
Michigan State's had 7 penalties, 62 yards in total. Third down, 19. Yarima is got Belk. Belk gets the ball at the 32-yard line.
The thing that I'm admiring the most about the Michigan State offense today is they're picking up all blitzes and all stunts. You see the inside linebacker Andy Moeller coming. Yarima gets away from it, hits Belk. The offensive line for Michigan State is doing an excellent job of picking up all the stunts.
Well, it's 4th down, and Mosienko's going to try one. He got one last week of 54 yards. This one's going to be 49. However, he does have a little bit of a crosswind. Clark Brown to hold, snapped his back, and he gets it up. Looks like it's long left. He's got it. Ralph Mosienko nails one from 49 yards out, and Michigan State goes up 16-7.
Sure made up for that field goal, that extra point miss.
2 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the third quarter. State leading 16-7 now, and we'll be right back after this message from your local. Michigan State now leading Michigan 16-7 in a game they have not won since 1978. But they're getting closer. This kick is out of the end zone, and that's going to cost Michigan State the extra 10 yards. The rule this year being, of course, when it goes out on the fly, the receiving team gets the ball on the 30-yard line. Think Ralph Mosienko wasn't happy after this one?
He's helping it, too.
So that was a 49-yarder after his 54-yarder of last week, and his punting has been superb today. The value of Mosienko is really immeasurable to this Michigan State team. Rick Rogers outside, but he's got Bell hanging right on him. After the fumble recovery, the play on which Jim Harbaugh was hurt, the Spartans moved down to within field goal range, and a minute and 48 seconds after recovering the fumble, got the field goal. Second down, 6. Big 9-point difference here now. And here is Reen. Well, intended for Vince Bean, Reen to Bean, and it doesn't work.
Well, Russell Reen really, in my opinion, should have come out with the ball, and when he saw everybody covered downfield, turn it up and get as much as he can, but he'll learn that when he gets more experience, and this is a tough place to put a young man like Russell Reen in, replacing a quarterback like Jim Harbaugh, and Reen has not taken a snap this year. Now
Triando Markray has gone in as a wide receiver. We have 2 minutes and 6 seconds to go in the third quarter. It's a 16-7 game. Green over the middle. Ooh, this one's a mile high. That was about 8 feet over Vince Bean's head. And it is a fourth down. And the Michigan State Spartans on the far side, you can see them all dotted there in green as they stand up, giving their defensive team, which is right in front of them, a big round of applause. Here's Monty Robbins. Good kick. Sends Bobby Morse back, and he lets it go into the end zone. So the Spartans will take over on the 20-yard line as Michigan, without its starting quarterback, Jim Harbaugh, has been rather ineffective.
They're either putting helium in that ball or something, because I haven't seen better punting on a college football field anyplace.
Well, you know how high the Michigan Stadium is, and we're about on eye level with the upper rim here in the press box. And that ball and many of the others have gone up, and we can see the trees of eastern Ann Arbor underneath the ball. I mean, the ball has got to be up there 70, 80 feet in the air. So the ball will be placed down on the 20-yard line. We have 1 minute and 53 seconds to go in this third quarter. The Michigan quarterback, Jim Harbaugh, has been taken out of the game because of an injury that they suspect might be a fractured arm or collarbone. And Michigan is being forced to go with a second-string quarterback. I would say, Rick, that this is a very, very big defensive move here for the Wolverines to try to, they've got the Michigan State team back on the 20, and if they can get that exchange of punts down to get a little bit better field position, it could mean the difference.
You're right.
And there's Kevin Brooks, number 52, throwing that right shoulder into the ball carrier, Keith Gates.
To go one step further, if you're the defensive coach of Michigan, you're saying create that turnover, make them fumble, get that interception, get us down there and get good field position.
Ingram out wide to the right. And Morris slides in the slot, as he does many times, on the opposite side. So Urema is back, and he throws it over the middle. It is complete, but a very short pass to Keith Gates as Mike Mallory, number 42, puts the stop on him.
Mike Mallory, excellent job on Bobby Morris. That little delay, that time Mallory just eyeballed him right in the backfield, and as soon as number 21, Bobby Morris, came out of it, Mallory was there and made the tackle. Third down.
Third down and 4. Gets some pressure. Jim Scarcelli throws into the ground, and he fumbles the ball. However, I believe he was down at the 22-yard line. Scarcelli, a junior out of Warren, Michigan, came roaring through there.
Watch number 85 at the bottom of your screen on that tackle, linebacker game, or tackle in linebacker. He puts the pressure. Good call by the official. The momentum was stopped. That is not a fumble.
And it brings up fourth down. Giovanni Johnson going in for Michigan as the return man. And here is Mosienko, whose left foot has been in a high visibility position today. There's another great kick, sending Giovanni Johnson back to the 25. Good, sure tackle by number 42 of Michigan State. Put him down. That's Tim Moore, a freshman on the specialty team. This is the way to hit.
Punt coverage, so important. Get down there, bring yourself under control, keep yourself contained. Number 80 from Michigan does an excellent job of not clipping right there on number 43, Fisher. But a great tackle by Fisher.
first down. Ball handed off to Rick Rogers, and he grinds forward for about 7 yards. Anthony Bell made the stop on it.
I look for us just to have a great fourth quarter coming up right now. The Michigan line this time really comes off the line of scrimmage, moves it down.
And we're at the end of the third quarter of play, and the score is 16-7. Michigan State is out in front, and we'll be back with the fourth quarter on the Stroh's Big Ten Game of the Week following the... Michigan team up front. Sim Nelson there, closest to the camera, the tight end, number 95. Pitch goes back to Rogers, has a hard time controlling it, and Bell bear hugs him at the line of scrimmage.
You want to know how to play outside linebacker, number 51, Anthony Bell, just gave a clinic. He took on Sim Nelson, the left of your screen. He shed the block. He just kept skating to the outside. Watch, move back to the inside and make the tackle on Rogers. Great play, Anthony Bell.
We've just begun the fourth quarter. Michigan State is leading Michigan 16-7 in the renewal of an old rivalry that began way back before the turn of the century. Schembechler's only lost twice to Michigan State. That ball hitting the receiver, Eddie Garrett, low. Bo is 13-2. And, of course, George Perlis, in his first year last year, lost that game 42-0. But these Spartans have given every indication they're not going to buckle. They've got a 9-point lead, and they've been hanging in there on defense every time, forcing Michigan, not giving them really much of anything. And now it's a 4th down and 3. Robbins gets a good kick away. Bobby Morse takes it. He had an 87-yard punt return earlier for a touchdown, and this one is down on the 25-yard line. So Michigan State will take over the football. 14 minutes and 7 seconds to go. And one thing that is in their mind right now is control that ball. Eat the clock. It's on their side.
That's the difference in Michigan State today. They haven't turned the ball over, but this is their fourth quarter nemesis. I'm not trying to be the Halloween goblin, but this is their nemesis.
First down on the 26-yard line. Jackson to the right, Ingram to the left. Gates and Butler are back. This is Gates. Ooh, boy, vicious tackle at the 27-yard line. I don't know who came up there so hard. He was in there so quickly. In fact, he may have hurt himself. 49. That's Andy Moeller.
Andy Moeller, the son of the defensive coordinator for Michigan, Gary Moeller, just put a big hit on there. I'll tell you, his dad's been doing some teaching at home. Let's just hope he's not injured too badly. Probably has a little burner on his shoulder.
In case you just joined us, Michigan has lost its starting quarterback, Jim Harbaugh, with a suspected fracture of the arm. Second down and 9. Urema turns, and he's got his man, Vino Belk. Vino Belk comes up with another key reception here at the 46-yard line. Boy, he's played some great ball this year.
Vino Belk, the tight end, on this bootleg action. Start to play one direction, make that little fake, come out with the quarterback, Urema. A high throw, but Belk concentrates on it. And the thing I like about Belk is he likes to run after he catches the ball. He's a load to take down. First down.
Well, that's the way things stood at the end of 3 quarters. But once again, I must add 87 yards to that, which never shows up in stats. And it's very misleading because the 87-yard punt return by Bobby Morse was the thing that made the difference. Here's Butler going outside, doing some nifty running for a first down and 13 yards. Brad Cochran finally made the stop and may have saved the touchdown.
The left guard, number 65, Alakana. See the block he gets in Butler. You give him a little bit of a hole. He can turn the ball upfield. Another first down, Michigan State. But lights the left guard, number 65, Alakana, lead him up through there. Good job.
Oh, this Michigan State team really has some zip today, and right from the very beginning of the ball game. Determined is the word I would guess would be best applicable to them. Bobby Morse getting forward for 4 or 5. Kevin Brooks making the stop. You know, that was number 20, not number 21. That's Aaron Roberts in the lineup. Let's get him in there out of Detroit Catholic Central, a senior. First appearance for him today. 1 carry, and he's out of there, though. 2nd and 7. Over the middle, and Vino Belk on the receiving end of that once more. At the 33-yard line, that'll be just short of the first down.
Completed pass, and I got to give Vino Belk the credit. He's coming from the left side to the right side, but he sees that the linebacker for Michigan is going to be sitting in the air. Watch him. He just throttles down a little bit so he doesn't go into the other linebacker area. Intelligent pass running by Vino Belk.
Aaron Roberts comes back in the lineup, and Bobby Morse goes out. Belk has caught 6 balls today for 69 yards. 3rd down and 1. Aaron Roberts may be a little bit short. Seeping through there was Mike Hammerstein, number 66. And he may have made a very key move. I see Andy Moeller is back in the lineup, number 49. So if he was shaken up earlier, he's all right. 4th down and 1. Now, with 11 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the game, Michigan State leads 16-7. They've got a 4th down and 1 on the Michigan 33-yard line. They're looking to the bench. And George Perlis is going to make the decision. Go for it. So Dave Urema out of Birmingham Brother Rice now calls for a timeout, thinking maybe it's better to have a conference about this. 10:57 to go in the ball game, and the score is 16-7 in favor of Michigan State. We'll be right back after a special tribute to Warren Amling, Bob Greasy, and Duffy Doherty, who will be inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1984. Former Big Ten greats. 4th and 1, and somersaulting to a first down is Aaron Roberts. You can't imagine how good he feels about that.
Especially since he hasn't been playing much because he's been fumbling the ball. But he was hit in the backfield, and Aaron Roberts, he wants to redeem himself, and he did it on that play.
You know, they've been spending almost 30 minutes at every practice sessions of defensive backs just going up and trying to hit the ball out of the ball carrier's arms this week. I think it's paid off. First down on the 30-yard line. 10 minutes and 45 seconds to go, and Michigan State is dominating this game now with a 16-7 lead. Beautiful running by Roberts, and he gallops to the 15-yard line.
I saw Aaron Roberts run in high school for Detroit Central Catholic, and this is how I remember him. And I'm telling you, that short yardage play has given him new life. Watch him turn the ball upfield. Aaron Roberts, first down, Michigan State.
Coming up next week, Wisconsin and Illinois. Well, that's coming up next, not next week. All right, back to this ball game. First down on the 15-yard line. Roberts going outside. However, there's a marker down as he slides to the ground. And it looks like it may be a holding penalty against Michigan State. Ball is placed down on the 18-yard line where he skidded to the turf. AstroTurf.
The defense of Michigan had that play tremendously defensed. It was just great. They shoved everything into the sideline, and Aaron Roberts had no place to go. And there is a holding penalty on the play, as you point out.
So it brings the ball back to the 27-yard line. Thing that's important here is State has gotten control of the ball and is moving. Despite the penalty setback, we have 10 minutes and 7 seconds to go, and State has a 9-point lead. Ingram to the right side along with Jackson. Now Jackson turns around and comes back. Yarima makes sure everybody's set, and it's first down and 22. On the draw. Not much for Keith Gates as Moeller makes the stop on him at the 23-yard line.
Tough play for linebackers. It looked like a pass, so as a linebacker, Andy Moeller, in this case, you have to start back, and then you see him give the ball to the back, and you have to come up and react to the run, which Andy Moeller did very well. Second down.
Second and 18 on the Michigan 23-yard line. Michigan State with the ball in the fourth quarter. 9:15 to play. Yarima pours it in there to Bobby Morrison. It's a first, just over the 15. Not quite enough for the first down. Bobby Moore says, I think Rick really been a hero of today's game.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Every big play I've seen almost for Michigan State, it's that little guy, Bobby Morris, who knows how to get open. Some people just know how to win and get open and do things in football, and Bobby Morris is one of those.
Bobby Morris is just a sophomore. By 6 catches today for 56 yards and an 87-yard touchdown punt return. Third down, and Yarima goes into the end zone. It is over the head of the intended receiver, Vino Belk, at the 2-yard line. But that will bring Mosienko in, and that's an almost automatic 3 points from this distance. 6-3, North Carolina over Clemson in the third quarter. Missouri over Colorado, 45-7 in the third. Stinging from that Notre Dame loss in the last second. All right, here we go. Mosienko will try a 30-yarder. That's pretty routine for him. He has one earlier of 49. And this one is up, and it is good. And Michigan State has gone up 19-7, and we have 8 minutes and 24 seconds to go in the game. We'll be right back after this message from Morris. Will be back to receive this kickoff by Mosienko. Jamie Morris has the kind of speed, really, that Bo Schembechler looks for in an explosive type of returner. He's capable of going all the way. They may not try to get it to him, but they do kick into the end zone, and it goes out of the field of play. So with 8 minutes and 24 seconds to go in the game, the Spartans are up by 12 points, 19-7. I'll tell you, this is not an unexpected score as far as Bo Schembechler is concerned. When you and I talked to him yesterday, Rick, he said, I want to tell you, gentlemen, this is, as far as I'm concerned, an even game.
Coaches are always concerned. It's the fans that say it's going to be an easy football game. You think he's ready? He graduated a knot too.
19-7, Michigan trailing, and the Wolverines have a second-string quarterback in there, Russell Reen, replacing Jim Harbaugh. Over the center he goes. He has Rick Rogers pulled down at the 26-yard line. Gain of 5 on the play as Lonnie Young comes up to make the stop.
Patience, you're down 12 points. You can't get it all back at once. Bo Schembechler's been there. You've got a young quarterback. Don't let him throw an interception. Just throw underneath to Rogers. That's his first completion. That's got to give Reen confidence.
Bob Perrin comes in last fullback. And Eddie Garrett comes out. Second down. Ball is on the 26. some microphone problems here. So we will make a substitution here on the microphone situation. It's a 3rd down and 5. Eddie Garrett reporting in the lineup for Bob Perriman. Out wide to the right goes Triano Marcray. To the right side is Vince Bean. On the draw, Rogers. Going to be short of the first down, I believe. He's out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. There's a marker, however, at the line of scrimmage. Tom Tyree made the stop. Boy, Tom Tyree should be given a lot of credit for this effort today. He was the one who recovered the fumble, the loose ball on the play on which Jim Harbaugh was hurt. Holding against Michigan.
That same range it forward. And right there, they're making that mistake. They're back in there at Michigan State. Big holding penalty against Michigan, and Michigan State has Michigan in the hole where they want them.
Again, a reminder that following this game at 4:30 Eastern Time, it's the Wisconsin Badgers against the Fighting Illini of Illinois. Third down, 16. 7.5 minutes to go. And Michigan State is leading Michigan 19-7. Michigan, the number 13 team in the country, playing a team that is 1-3, had lost 3 in a row coming into today's game, and down by 12 to them. Shows you what a crazy thing college football is. Here's Reen with a lot of pressure on him. Well, he still manages to keep on his feet, and he throws it to Rick Rogers, complete at the 27-yard line, short of the first down. I was looking downfield to see if anybody had broken, but nobody had. Now, I thought that was a pretty good effort.
It was an excellent effort. The secondary, the biggest thing you tell your people, play pass until the quarterback crosses the line of scrimmage. You notice they're all back there playing pass for Michigan State. Then they came up after the ball was thrown. It's 4th down, and Michigan must punt.
And Michigan is getting a little bit of criticism from the crowd with a 4th and 3, trailing by 12 in a punting situation. Only 6:40 to go in the game. Robbins, fair catch. Oh, and there's really a stupid move on the part of Al Bishop. The signal was very, very clear, and Bishop just ran right into Phil Parker, and that's going to cost Michigan.
Really an inexcusable penalty, because you just can't have penalties like that, and you got to look for that receiver to put his arm up, which he did. You watch, and you're now covering this punt. Watch the fair catch signal by Phil Parker.
Well, there was never any question about that. In fact, he's almost down. Only excuse you might say is that Bishop was screened by another man and may not have seen it.
That's right.
After that penalty to Michigan for the personal foul hitting after the fair catch signal had been called for, Michigan State has the ball on the Michigan 44-yard line. Urema giving it off to Aaron Roberts, and look at him gallop through there after shrugging off one tackle. He makes a first down at the 33-yard line. Boy, what an afternoon Aaron Roberts is having.
Aaron Roberts, number 20, the tailback. He's getting good blocking up front, no question about it. Good lead block by Keith Gates, but watch him. He's a senior, and he says, I've got my opportunity, and I'm going to make good.
First and 10 on the 33. 6 minutes, 15 seconds to go. Michigan State out in front, 19-7 over Michigan. Roberts again, but this time he is pulled down by Mike Mallory and also Sinsich. We have a report now, I think, from Jim Bonds on the Michigan side.
Thanks, Bill. The mood on the Michigan sideline is a very somber one, as it should be probably, with down by 12 with 6 minutes to go. But the injury to Jimmy Harbaugh has really taken a lot out of this team. True, everyone plays a role, but the team looks to its quarterback for its leadership, and they really miss Jimmy Harbaugh. It's obvious right now. Very somber on the sideline for Michigan right now.
Yeah, but is there anything new on Harbaugh? I mean, have you found out anything more definitive?
Nothing new, nothing more definitive. Is still assumed a fracture of the left arm, Bill.
Boy, that's going to be a tough remainder of the season, because Michigan, following today's game, plays Northwestern, then moves to Iowa, plays Illinois at home, goes to Purdue, plays Minnesota at home, and then plays at Ohio State. Sincich comes out of the lineup holding that shoulder that's been giving him a little bit of a problem. Third down at 8. Ball on the 31-yard line. Michigan State leading 19-7. Big rush. Down he goes, and it's a fumble. It's covered by Michigan at the 40-yard line. Dieter Herron, number 35, was the man who came in from the corner blitz. And let's see who comes up with the football. Number 61, Nate Rogers, a senior from Warren, Ohio.
Gary Moeller, the defensive coordinator from Michigan, I'm sure he told his people, create a turnover. Dieter Herron comes in, creates the turnover, and Michigan is still alive.
Chris Zerbrugg has gone in at quarterback, number 12. And by the way, Dieter Herron, the man who just made that stop, is a junior out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, Snyder High School, where he was one tough player. First and 10, Zerbrugg makes the pitch. Rogers gets about 5. Zerbrugg is a sophomore from Alliance, Ohio, and really had been running as a second-string quarterback. I do think, though, that at that time, Rick, don't you, that Boas sort of categorized these two quarterbacks, and he needed passing maybe more than running.
You hit the nail right on the head, and they think Green is a better quarterback at passing than Zerbrugg. But he needed at the time. But now he says, hey, I'm going to put Zerbrugg. Give him a shot.
Zerbrugg back over the middle. Boy, there's a beauty. Right on the money at the 42-yard line to Vince Bean.
When you won in many games as Michigan, you're never out of it. And Chris Zerbrugg comes right in and boom, hits Vince Bean right over the middle. A difficult pass to complete. You have to throw it in between linebackers like Derek Bunch and Tom Tyree, and he stuffed it in there.
3 minutes, 58 seconds to go. First down on the 42-yard line. Zerbrugg fires, and this one goes right into the arms of a Michigan State player. I thought it was Derek Bunch, but I could be wrong. It looked like 52. Triando, yes it was. Derek Bunch got the ball.
The outside linebackers responsible when the ball is turned inside by a receiver. The outside guy and the end comes outside. The linebacker has to play them both and kind of hang in the middle. Bunch did it to perfection. He laid right in the middle when they went to throw the turn-in. Watch it right here. Bunch, boom, right in front of the turn-in. Big interception, big turnover, Michigan State.
And that may be the ball game, because the Spartans have the ball on their own 35-yard line with a 12-point lead. No matter what Michigan did, with an 8-pointer and then a 3, it would be short. They've got to have 2 touchdowns. Aaron Roberts running hard again at the 37, knocked down by Andy Moeller. But these are the time-consuming plays. And if Michigan State can roll to a first down here.
Aaron Roberts came into the game with 44 yards for the season, has 35 already today. And the thing I liked, he knows he can't fumble. He covered up with both hands that time and roared up in there. He said, I'm not going to cough it up.
You know, it's particularly heartwarming to see Aaron Roberts, because he was one of the most highly publicized high school players to come out of high school 4 years ago. He went to Michigan State and has been plagued with a series of little injuries and things like that. He hasn't been blessed with very good hands. He's got great legs, and he's got great heart, but somehow he just seemed to be a fumbler. And because of that, he's really never come into his own. But he certainly can point to this game today as one of his finest efforts. Roll and Belk, 2 tight ends in the lineup now with a 2nd and 8. Roberts again getting it forward to the 39-yard line, and Mike Mallory making the stop.
Clock is moving. 2 minutes and 58 seconds.
The Wisconsin-Illinois game will be seen over our Sports View Big Ten Football Network at 4:30 Eastern Time. And then next week we will be in Madison for the Golden Gophers against the Wisconsin Badgers. Hey, this conference race is going to be one dogfight this year, as everybody predicted it would be. 3rd and 5. Roberts. Oh, he's awful close. Gets to the 43-yard line. I think he's going to be 4th down, though, and about 1.5 yards to go. Vince DeFelice and Andy Moeller making the stop on him. So it looks like the Wolverines will get that ball back. Mosienko is certainly out of field goal range here. He'll just try to boom it deep.
Michigan State is doing an excellent job of just running that clock and let it go and let it go. I'm sure they wouldn't even mind taking a 5-yard delay of game penalty right here just to run time off the clock.
Absolutely. The clock is moving, 150, counting. Mosienko has a 45-yard average today, and I think you're exactly right. They're not going to be in any hurry to put this ball in play. With Mosienko's foot, they could just sit there and let the clock tick by and take the delay of the game penalty. 5 yards means nothing to him. It is just really about out of reach. It would take an absolute total miracle for the Wolverines to make up those 12 points. 19-7 is the score. And Mosienko's back. Make no mistake about it, Mosienko has been a big figure today. In fact, if you really come right down to it, the kick in football has been important in this game because it was the kick return that broke it open. Everybody coming. It doesn't bother Mosienko. He gets a pretty good kick, and he gets a Spartan bounce to go to the far side. Gilvani Johnson has to grab it at the 13-yard line. So with 1 minute and 27 seconds to go, the Spartans leading 19-7. Well, that's the situation. 1:27 to go. Michigan State 19, Michigan 7. And this more than atones for the 42-0 loss that the Spartans took at the hands of Michigan and East Lansing last year. So Zurbrigg has gone in at quarterback, but the Wolverines are 87 yards away from the Michigan State goal line, and they're trailing by 12. Well, Rogers just simply pawed that one to the ground.
In this situation, you're so anxious to run with the football before you catch it like Rogers was there, and it's a natural instinct.
Well, next week, Michigan State will take on Indiana at home, then Ohio State at home. That is intercepted at the 27-yard line. Tom Tyree, who earlier recovered a fumble, has turned in an interception, the 4th Michigan turnover, and the Spartans now have made it complete. There is no chance that the Wolverines can come back with 74 seconds to go.
Tom Tyree, watch him at the top of your screen, the linebacker number 28, a 7-foot high jumper, reacts, boom, right there into the ball to the quarterback's eye. Interception, Michigan State, and I think Michigan State might have won this one.
Oh, you mean Mr. Out on the Limb coach is willing to say that at this time? Yes, I think it's, and I'll tell you, will go down as one of the really fine Michigan State victories in their record book. To come in here 1-3 against a 3-1 team at the Michigan Stadium and to play the kind of ball that Michigan State has played today certainly deserves a great big pat on the back. Gain of 5 on the play for Aaron Roberts.
If you're ever down and out in life and you've been stepped on for making a lot of mistakes, watch Aaron Roberts right here. Boy, I'll tell you, it just does my heart good to see any young man come back, and Aaron Roberts like that is just super.
And I think for George Perlis, too.
Yes.
You know, who never gave up on this team at all, even after that shellacking that Illinois gave them. Played a good, hard game last week against Purdue, and it set the stage for this upset today. Roberts down, but the clock is moving. Less than 30 seconds now, and Michigan has still 3 timeouts to burn.
Really?
And Urema now really sensing victory. And Bo is not going to call timeout. He's going to let it run out. And look at the Michigan State bench now starting to erupt onto the field. And there's not going to be another play. It's all over, and Michigan State has done it. They have beaten the Wolverines in the Michigan home ground in the giant Michigan Stadium. They have waited 6 long years, Rick, for this moment.
Let me tell you, being an ex-coach, I can feel for Michigan State in this situation. Come right back in here to this Michigan's home field. Beat them here after losing a tough one last week to Purdue that they really should have won 13-10. Come back here and beat Michigan is a great win, and that Michigan team goes out of there. But Michigan played a good football game today, but Michigan State didn't make those mistakes.
Absolutely right. They came out right from the very beginning. The offensive line had pop. It had zip. It moved the Michigan defenders off the line. Urema, I thought, played the finest game of his career.
Absolutely. And give George Perlis credit. You know, a lot of times we don't do that with coaches. To take a team that's 1-3 and lost like they had and didn't let them separate, kept them together and brought them here to a victory.
Well, we're going to try to get George Perlis's reaction here because Jim Bond is down there among that sea of people to try to find George. That may be a harder job than anybody's today. But I think we'll be successful in not only talking to George Perlis, but some of the personalities that have created this wonderful victory for Michigan State today. And we'll do that right after this message.
You're on.
This is Bill Fleming here, back with Rick Forzano in the Michigan Stadium, where the Spartan fans are really celebrating. Well, they should celebrate. And I think we have Jim Bonds on the field if we can find him. Jim, are you there?
I'm here, Bill. I think it's a sea of happy Spartan fans, and with me, one of the key players in the Spartans' victory over Michigan this afternoon, tight end Vino Belt. Vino, how's it feel right now?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel real good about winning this game from Michigan State. Last week, you know, I dropped the last pass of the game. You know, the coach kept telling me, you know, you got to redeem yourself in practice. So they threw me the ball, you know, the whole all practice, all week long. They threw me the ball. And they told me I can't drop no ball. You know, they expect me to make the big plays, so that's what I did.
Going into the game with opposite records, 3-1 versus 1-3, and coming off the loss at home to Purdue last week, what was your feeling this week during practice? Did you feel you could come over here and upset Michigan?
Yeah, we felt that we could come over and upset Michigan because we was planning on being 3-3 coming into Ohio State, and we practiced hard with Coach Buck and Coach Becko. He helped us out a lot with the tight ends, and they expected to throw us the ball. You know, they said the tight end would get a whole bunch of passes a week, which we did. We prepared all week for it.
You know, after last week, and what did Coach George Perlis talk to you? I know turnovers played a key role last week, and today you weren't hampered by turnovers. How did that come about? What did he talk to you, say to you about turnovers?
Well, Coach Perlis told me every day when we stretch through our exercise and all, he come up to me, he said, "Buck, we got to have the ball." He said, "Don't drop the ball." He told me all week, "Don't drop the ball." And that's what I didn't do today. I held on to the ball all day.
Very good. Vino, thank you for coming by. Get in the locker room. Congratulations on the big win.
Thank you, too.
Back upstairs to Bill Fleming.
Well, the fans here trying to do the best they can to take down the goalpost at the north end of the field. However, those are anchored in concrete, and I don't know that they're going to be all as successful as they were in beating Michigan today. Let's talk with Rick Forzano for just a moment about the reaction. We know what Michigan State's reaction is. What will the Michigan reaction be here?
Well, Bo Schembechler's been there. He's the dean of the Big Ten coaches. He's a winner. He'll know how to bring them back, and I will promise you this, that Michigan, without Harbaugh, will still be in the Big Ten race.
All right, well, we will talk a little bit more about the Big Ten race, and we'll recap some of the highlights of this game and maybe get some more personalities that figured in this great big Michigan State victory today. Michigan State fans are obviously soaking up what has to be one of the most pleasurable victories of all time. beating arch rival Michigan right here in the gigantic Michigan Stadium this afternoon, 19-7, and there wasn't any question about it. The Spartans not only jumped off to a 7-0 lead, but they extended that to 13-0. Michigan came back to make a 13-7, and then those 2 field goals by Mosienko made the final score of 19-7. One of the men who was really the big conspirator here today for Michigan State was Bobby Morse, who was the safety man who was on the receiving end of that long punt by Michigan, and you know what happened there. But let's follow up with the man himself and Jim Bonds.
Thank you, Bill. We are here with Bobby Morris, one of the heroes in the Michigan State victory over Michigan this afternoon. Bobby, tell you, a great win for your football team.
Oh, it really was. We've been having some bad luck lately. And today we didn't commit any turnovers. I think we committed 1 turnover, and that's the key of the game, and we executed well also.
It really was. What does that mean when you had only 1 turnover this week as compared to your previous games? What did you do differently? How do you define what causes that team to make turnovers and like today when you didn't?
Well, it's just a little carelessness on the ball carrier's part, but we really expressed it in practice this week, carrying with 2 hands on the ball and just running tough.
Okay, Bobby, we're in the middle of looking at your replay. Your punt return, 87 yards in the second quarter for the touchdown that put your team up 13-0. He almost got you there, but your balance was good enough to take you into the end zone.
Yeah, I went so far, there's no way I was going to let that guy, I knew he was coming. I had to get away from him, and I did.
Bobby Morris, congratulations on the big win, the sophomore from Muskegon, Michigan, and good luck to you the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
Bobby Morris, number 21. Let's go over here. Who we got? Ralph, come on in. Earlier, Ralph, someone upstairs had a great line. They said your foot was in a high visibility position today. Translated, that means you played a big role in this game. Congratulations.
Thank you. I just thank God that we could pull it out. And on my first field goal, that ball just hooked about 20 yards for me. I said, Lord, thanks a lot.
Let's take a look at this if we can, Ralph. We have one of the field goals. I believe this is the 49-yarder here. And we'll see visually what you just indicated as it goes and almost, but then, and it's good.
Clark made a great hold on that play. He got it back. It wasn't a great snap. He got it back with 2 hands and threw it down there, and then the next field goal was no problem. Everything worked fine for us.
Do you feel the pressure when you go in to boot a 49-yarder or 54-yarder like you did against Purdue last week?
Oh, I feel the pressure, but I just try to ignore it and practice like I play, you know.
Congratulations on the win. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you, sir.
That's it, Ralph.
Ralph Mosienko. And over here, let's get Jim Morrissey in. Jim Morrissey. If we can get room here from the fans. These Michigan State fans have been waiting for this a long time, so you can understand their excitement. Congratulations. We've been talking to the offense and the kickers. What about that defense?
We played great. I think we played great. We had to stop the run first, and we could, drop back on the passes. I thought we came out good, stopping the run, then they had a pass, and we could fall back on that.
If we may, let's compare your game plan defensively to what actually took place on the field. Were you prepared for everything Michigan threw at you offensively?
Yeah, we were, because we had old films, and we knew how to play them. If we put all our men up front, and just go after them.
Jim, what does this do to your football team as far as your confidence? I know you had to be down last week after the loss at home, but now it's something else, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's just like 1978. Michigan State started out 1-3, and they went to an 8-3 record and co-champions of the Big Ten. So we're looking forward to that.
It's getting kind of crowded, Jim. We'll go back upstairs to Bill Fleming.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's go, Central!
All right, and it gives us an opportunity to hear the Michigan band just saluting the Spartans of Michigan State, as a matter of fact, for their victory today with the Michigan State fight song. Let me bring you up to date on a couple of other games in the Big Ten. Ohio State is leading Purdue. That's at halftime by the score of 10-7, and Iowa is still maintaining a 14-0 lead over Northwestern. Immediately following this game, of course, it'll be Wisconsin at Illinois. Indiana plays tonight, and next week, of course, these two teams will be back in action. Rick, it will be hard for Michigan to pick up the pieces for next week. Based on what you saw out there today, would you imagine they would go with Reen or Zubrik?
I think they'll probably go with Zubrik because Bo is a running-type football coach, and he wants to run the option. It looked like to me that Zubrik can run the option better than Reen. That's just my observation.
And so for this last couple of moments, we will hear the strains of The Victors as being played by the Michigan Varsity Band. Again, the final score in this one, 19-7. Let's listen to the victors for a moment. Michigan band is playing the victors today. The Wolverines were the vanquished and not the victors. Michigan State 19, Michigan 7, and we'll be back in just a moment.